Fixed it.
How's everybody doing?
What up,
Welcome
motherfuckers?
to, welcome to Neon Lights in Night City, the actual play Cyberpunk Red tabletop show, and the only show on this channel that I have to try and remember that whole opening intro without screwing it up every time, and it's so hard. I hope you guys appreciate it.
Excuse
Anyway,
me, I have intros on all of my shows too, and they're equally hard to get through. I feel your pain.
This is to chat.
That's
No, this is to chat to Fox and Michelle.
Motherfucker, fucking.
Yeah, no,
fucking,
I haven't tried
fuck,
that. I should do that.
Shit, fuck.
Of course, Chops is gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't know what I expected.
Anyways, my name's Tate Watchman. I am the, I like Game Maestro. I like that Fox has been doing that when I say Game Maestro. Game Maestro for this series, for this show, where I'm playing everyone who is not one of my three lovely players, who are going to introduce themselves now in stream order.
What's good? It's Young Foxy, aka Big Foxy, aka your favorite fox ear-wearing fox. And today I'll be playing Fox the Fixer. So many foxes in that one intro there. Yeah, got back into Night City, and as I made it so it said in the DM to Michelle, time away from the theater is time looking away from the chessboard, which is time your opponent can use to cheat or bribe the ref, which I don't like. So Fox is looking to check back in on all the campaign things and make sure that Stinky has not been putting his hands in the cookie jar while he's been away. Other than that, I'm going to pass it on over to Michelle.
Alright, I'm Michelle. I'm playing Lynx, our netrunner, who is currently, well, let's see, talking
Still in the
with...
nightclub.
Yes! Still in the nightclub, talking with awkward baby AI, and trying to
Okay, can we not call them baby AI? That sounds weird. I'm not a fan.
Nah.
But they are? Anywho, be updated, of course. Take it
And
away, Doc.
Hi. I'm the Dan.
he had to get that last joke out.
Had to get
He
one
had
more
to.
joke out. Had to slide one more out before you know.
Look, I have my priorities in order, okay?
I am
Hi, I'm Dan. I play Doc, the fixer of people, the med tech.
So what do I
It's
fix?
kind of like a fixer of people.
I don't know
You
what I'm doing because I was
Well.
off. I wasn't here last week. I heard something about.
We're about to get into that.
I heard something about Fox being very okay with putting a bullet in my head. Or maybe it was my back. I'm
Hey,
not
to
sure.
be fair, we
You
were
didn't
on the
hear that.
roof when we had that conversation, so you didn't hear it. Thank you very
Yeah, I
much.
also wasn't here when you put a gun
Hi,
up to the
Molly.
rib of that very nice robot man, who
Listen,
literally just only helped us.
listen, you have your ways and I have mine, all right? I don't
To
go
be
on.
fair,
Molly.
he did preface his help with, I have cyber-stalked you and know literally everything about you to make
Yeah.
sure that you weren't going to betray me, so he definitely is the same level of paranoid.
Listen,
True.
man.
I
You
guess
don't,
he maybe should have been a little bit better at his job.
listen, you don't see me pulling up to your fucking workplace and being like, "Oh, I don't think that's how you do a suture properly, doctor. I don't think you do a fucking triple bypass that way, doctor. Maybe you should be thinking about. So how about you not tell me I do my fucking job? All right, then.
I don't got it. I just gotta tell your mom.
That's rude.
I mean, ooh, that's so rude. No, we can talk about how smart or not smart he is about that. I mean, he didn't die, so he's at least not a total idiot. Anyways, actually what I wanted to do, instead of doing a recap of last time, is I want to just play through a bit of that with Doc really quick.
Sure.
Is that, so 2 sessions ago, at the very end, you guys basically all got in the car and went home. And yeah, it was, I think, Doc, most of your time was spent patching up Daniel, who, like, his bike is kind of totaled, and there's definitely some shrapnel, like, in his sort of rib-ish area that you've had to pick
Picture
out.
it as I'm working on him while he's like we bent over his car patching it up.
Probably. Right over the bike, just like... Well, actually, yeah, he's probably trying to fix... he's trying to fix the car just to make sure it keeps running, because it also took a bit of a battering.
Yeah, it got a little.
Yeah, he's like on the floor, arm and head like inside the underneath of like the dashboard, and then you're just like, stop fidgeting. This is gonna hurt way more if you keep doing that.
All right.
But
so
mostly, I'm gonna say the road trip is kind of uneventful for you. You know, you do notice Foxy and Link go up on the roof for a bit and come down. It's when you get like right within a certain pretty close range, like you're right next to the city for actually invading Night City. Your phone starts pinging a lot as you get a bunch of messages. So, normally you could get like text and stuff out there, but this isn't text. This is basically what's known as a data drop. There's just data points all over the city that are about as common as streetlights that communicate with each other, and anyone can drop a message on one and have it basically just propagate through the whole system looking for one person. It's the kind of messaging that is technically more interceptable, but way easier to encrypt, and you can't really tell who sent it until you unencrypt it. And even then, you might not know if they decide to like use a burner phone or something.
True facts.
And you get like 5 or 6 of them.
And what do they say? Or what's the data say?
Yeah, so you open it and you recognize it immediately as something from your aunt. That when
Great.
she is extremely nervous, she goes real cloak and dagger, and you know 100% for sure you couldn't unencrypt it if you didn't already have the key. As it is, you're like not sure Lynx could unencrypt it even, because like she uses all the resources of Biotechnica to like really hide it. Lynx maybe could, but you don't know for sure that she could.
Maybe
Yeah,
I
if you
should present
unencrypt
it to
them.
her as a taunt. But do
Yeah.
I already have the key or not?
You do already have the key.
Right.
The keys, the keys, the keys.
Well, you have a key that you know that she does many of these kinds of messages, but as you apply your own key, it works. Its own password that sort of gives it like the numbers it needs to know how to decrypt it, and it is a series of messages getting progressively more terse and short. Of like, okay, so what do you know about these robots?
I thought you said
Seriously.
more.
Nope. It's like, hey, what do you know about these robots? Huckabee, you better answer me about these robots. No, this isn't funny anymore. I seriously need to know. Message me. Call me. Call me. Call me.
All
So,
right.
Someone got
not
a fan,
happy.
Doc.
I was otherwise occupied. What do you want?
Blow an X off or something? It's kind of cruel, but I like your style.
Family business, you might say.
All right, well, I'll leave you to it, but, need me to... You just let me know.
I will, but I don't think that would be necessary this time.
Oh, that means less fun.
Yeah, this is all happening like when you get back to the city. Fox and Lynx, you sort of go off and do your thing, and Doc, you're left with Daniel, who is now fixing up his bike. I do want you to roll a medical check to see how many of those drugs you made have to be used to like heal him.
Okay, I did not open up
Medical check of some kind. How dare?
How dare you not have your character sheet ready the moment we go live?
All right. Okay, I can probably just roll a medical tech check.
Yeah.
That or like a surgery.
Sounds good.
All right.
He was not so badly injured that he need like some serious surgery because you could not do that in the car. But
Well, I got my cryo pump now.
Yeah, he's suited up with medical technologies.
Oh wait, that's not right.
You're welcome, by the way.
Checks in the mail.
Wait, there's a check involved? Seriously?
I know that.
Hey, I know you were paying me for it, but I respect it.
Why is it not showing?
ooh, it showed up on my end. You got a 10. First roll of the night. That's
Big
that's
crits!
gotta be some.
Not a good sign
That'd
for
be a good sign.
later.
We roll the big crits!
Roll another D10, my man. I swear we have more than 21, but it's fine.
21?
29.
21.
No, he got 29 is what he got.
29?
Oh, 21 crits. Yeah, okay. 21 crits. Sorry, missed that. Yeah, so you basically have to use none of it because Daniel's like, no anesthetic. I have to keep my fingers fine so that I can keep working on this. So he's just kind of gritting through it. You would probably knock him out anyways, but doesn't seem like super deep in him.
What a fucking boss.
It's like, well, this is functional, I guess. You use local anesthetic instead, so none of the meds that you have for healing.
Holy shit, what a thug.
Okay.
And yeah, he's insisted through that because he's like, this bike needs to be perfect before I leave, or my mom will kill me.
Holy fuck, what a
That's
badass.
just when I thought we could get out of this with no casualties.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, so you have just like a night, and I want to do a scene with you about this night, which
Right.
you can decide what that is.
Okay. So as far as my aunt goes, this is before we learned about, or this is before we like got the info dump on the Elon Musk AI, right?
Yeah. The last
Okay.
time you talked to her was before you left for this.
I
And
thought we
it
were calling
was
him AI
just
Elon
like-
Musk.
AI Elon Musk.
Hey, it was your idea, not mine. We're running with that now.
I hadn't heard that yet.
Yeah.
I thought we agreed
Alright.
on that as a unit.
So, Elon Musk, you did this.
I know I
You
did
did
this. I know. I know. I've made my bed. I'll lay in it.
Anyways, but yeah, you can, you could message her, and she'll probably respond considering the many messages you got.
All right. I'm just gonna send her a short text of found the source of the robots, tracking down or working on a possible lead. That's all I have for now.
Yeah. You get a message back. It's like, I need to talk to you, and I don't trust any digital avenue. Meet me at, and then just drops a ping to just some like random bar in the Glen. It's like tonight.
Tonight. Oh boy.
Tonight
All right.
is a party on the rooftop. Sorry.
All right. I am. How much do I know about this bar?
You can like look at it quickly. It's like a bar for how do I exactly describe this? It's like a bar for people who work in an office. Like, it's not trying to theme itself in any cutesy way. It's not like for rocker boys. It's not for hackers. It's like, this is a bar where you go and get decent food and get drunk, and like that's it. There's nothing else about it. But like that's the point, because it's right in the middle of a bunch of these like corporate buildings that are like the satellite offices for a lot of major ones. So this is like the most middle ground people, the most bland middle ground manager people possible. And this is the bar they go to because they're like, hey, life sucks. I'm gonna have to work myself nearly to death to make it work. So let's get drunk.
Woohoo. All right. So it's not the kind of place that would have tight security or anything like that.
No. In fact, as you look at it, you wonder if maybe she didn't pick it because it seems to have basically no electronic anything in it. Like, it's super low tech, which is weird, but like that's maybe kind of the appeal.
All right.
You could roll me some research or some insight of some kind if you want to learn more.
Okay. It's mostly just like, I don't know if I want to go there alone.
That's fair.
And depending on what kind of security tech they have installed, it might be useful to have a hacker with me.
Well, Lynx is busy.
Although I guess she's spending the time with Fox at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, I think it's something that Doc would have noticed. As we mentioned last time, as you guys drove in, there seemed to have been some kind of gunfight, like just a block away from Neon Lights in Night City, like the actual place. And then, yeah, as you saw Fox talk to the guy there, and then like you guys drove by where Elijah was, and he's just like stacking bodies in the now drying concrete foundation that they're pouring at the moment.
That's horrifying.
That's how he's getting rid of them. He's
Okay.
like, look, this is the easiest way. Whoop.
I wonder how much body there is in the concrete in your street. Just think about
I
that
want
when you go
local
home today,
expert.
kids.
But that's the thing that happened. But just thought we should mention that as part of our summary from last time.
Joyce.
Yes. How about local expert?
Sure.
All right. Although technically this isn't my home.
You've been here close enough in Night City for a while. I think that we can use this a bit.
Right.
With a 17, you actually have heard one or two people talk about this while they're on your table, because you work on just everybody local, and the Glen is really not that far from you.
Okay.
As you become more famous, or at least more popular amongst, people in general, there's been a few office workers from the Glen who maybe have gotten hurt in a way that they don't want their company doctors to know about. And they've come to you. And as you've heard them talking, this bar is low-key a place that has literally zero electronics in it, specifically so the people there can't be spied on by their bosses.
Okay. So she
But
might.
it
So
presents itself as generic as possible, specifically so that it doesn't get pinged by like the big guys about it.
so good old Auntie might have stuff she doesn't want her higher ups finding out about either.
Probably.
All right.
Everybody's got secrets, babe.
I'll send her a message back saying I'm not coming alone.
Her response is, make sure you trust them completely.
Oh, that might be tough. given the events
Do you
that
respond that way? Do you respond that way, or is that just you, like Doc's thinking?
that is me, Dan the player, saying that might be tough.
Dan's like,
Uh
I
huh.
watched the last session. I could grab Dion, maybe. Although he's out doing stuff, isn't he?
While Dion's sort of running around, you can maybe try and grab him and talk to him. But yeah, he's like in and out. Doc, actually, roll me some human insight.
Human insights. Got it. Human perception?
Oh yeah, human perception.
Ooh.
14.
It's something.
Yeah, well, you are pretty familiar with the construction guys that are around. There's maybe one or two you haven't met in the week you've been gone. It seems like maybe they had to replace one or two people after whatever gunfight that was that happened. But you do notice one person come in and go into Dion's room. Like they have a key and you don't recognize them. And then they come back out and they seem like they're very much in a hurry. But Dion's friend Tess doesn't stop them. In fact, waves at them and says hi as she's busy and on her way.
Okay. So should I ask?
But you don't. Yeah, you can talk to either of them.
So these construction workers seem pretty trustworthy then?
Oh, I'm just saying if you want to get a hold of Dion, there's
Oh.
two people who interact with him.
Right.
Excuse me.
So we're back in Neon Lights at this point?
Yes, you are in Neon Lights again.
Abe, you guys seen Dion anywhere? Wow, this accent is just getting worse and worse.
Yeah, so Tess stops, and then this guy stops that was talking to him, and this guy is big. Like, big. And for a second, you think that, 6 feet tall, super strong, no matter what, we get along, whatever. He seems quite friendly, except that's the definition of a himbo, Fox. Don't be laughing about that.
No, I got it. I just.
Anyways, you first think that he's covered in some sort of cyberware-ish armor because it seems to move more naturally than if he was wearing it. But as you get close, this guy is covered in black scales, and you think that it's actually exotic body sculpting. He has this face that you think probably frightens children. His face is kind of covered in these scales, and it's drawn, and he has pretty sharp, sort of aggressive-looking teeth. When
did we
he
just meet our
talks.
first furry? God damn it!
But he stops, and you can tell from everything from his
As
body
the man
languages that
with
he's
podcast
very.
said.
You can tell from his body language that he's extremely aware of how aggressive he looks, and he is trying to be very non-threatening, despite the fact that he looks like he could eat you. And he's like, "Hi, yeah. Do you know you're one of Dion's friends who lives here, right?" Looks at Tess. Tess nods. Hi, my name's Ben. And he goes to shake your hand. His hand is significantly bigger than yours, so much bigger. It's like a child shaking an adult hand.
All right. How much of? All right. So how much? All right, because I want to be nice to him because I've just heard that.
Mhm.
But in character, how much of the he's big but he's trying to not look scary do I perceive?
I think that with the role you had, that's kind of what you get. A 14 gets you about that much.
Okay. I shake his hand as firmly as I can, given how much larger it is than my own hand, and say, "Hi, hello, Ben. It's nice to meet you. Yes, I was wondering if you had seen him. Do you know where he is?"
He was around. I think that he's gone over into the upper marina today. He's looking for some of us and gestures to test himself and sort of generally in a way that you assume means Dion. Like some of us.
Right. Do you know when he'll be back?
That's hard to say. He's planning on being back maybe 5 or 6, but he could be earlier, he could be later. The kind of detective work he's doing right now doesn't exactly happen on a schedule.
Yeah, lovely.
He's sleuthing.
Doing a big sleuth. I'm just saying that, if Joe can't be around, but if he was, he'd be doing a whole side quest. It'd be a whole deal.
True. We miss
Don't
you,
have
Joe.
it.
We love you a lot.
We
Hope you're doing
miss
okay.
Joe, you're the best.
Hearts in chat for Joe.
And follow him on Twitter because he's hilarious.
Yo.
He is very funny.
Oh my god.
Unbelievably so.
Oh my
Joining into his
god.
Long con sarcasm. Anyways,
I'm sorry. I'm good now.
okay. Anyways, if you would like to roll me one more human perception check of just, if you don't have any other ideas of who to talk to, Doc, if you're just like, who else would be trustworthy?
I could go to Enzo maybe, but I feel like we haven't interacted that much.
Yeah, so you're like, Enzo probably, but yeah, that is like a little I don't know that I should drag him into my family business.
Not to cut you off here, but I feel like Doc going to Enzo is that moment when like Tien and Piccolo have their only conversation in Dragon Ball ever. They just stop and go like, "Hey, we've never fucking talked like ever actually." Like it's just that moment. Everybody else flies off. It's just like Tien, Yamcha, and Piccolo. He's just like, "What's up?" Just like...
Actually, I mean, to be real, these are people who live nearby. If you want to, we can just say that you guys have had like drinks every other night when you're not busy. Like, he could be a friend if you want him to be.
We do drink a lot.
I like the occasional glass of whiskey. Like,
What's the occasion? Every half hour?
You can pick anybody.
I wouldn't be much of a doctor if I was drunk.
And 6 o'clock.
Okay, to be fair, this is Night City. No one's much of a doctor anymore except for Trauma Team. So I think
You know what? Fair.
that bar isn't super high to pass. You know.
Being the most reliable doctor simply means that your hands aren't shaking and you don't have some weird quirk about like, oh no, I don't. I like steal every Arasaka piece.
Or
inside
like,
person
you
I
know,
can.
you don't have a bullet in you. Also, it's like a factor in that. Like, you know, a lot of doctors in the city don't have that going for them. You know.
That's fair. But yeah, I'm just saying that like if you want to have a relationship with one of these people, you can totally do that. I'm fine with that. That's not like even a role.
Fucking muster the weekend, baby.
Yeah, but with 15, you also think it's like, yeah, but do I want to involve in my family business? But you do know Elijah is specifically your security team for this, and so he might want to know at least. And you trust him to not like start shit and to like keep a secret.
All right.
You don't know if you give him like your bank account password, but
All right. I'll go to
give him
Elijah.
like a link. So.
I mostly just need like physical security.
This is fair.
So I'll go to Elijah. Knock
Mhm.
on his door, I guess.
Yeah, well, you go looking for him, and he's still like working at the foundation of like the corner that they're finishing. It's sort of the far corner from where you guys are at. When you get there, there's no more bodies, but there's like a pile of cyber parts that he thought was maybe you would be interested in. That are just like stacked up to the side. They're not like removed with any kind of delicacy, so you don't know how much you're gonna get out of them. He's like, "Oh, hey Doc, I thought you might like those."
Ah, a true friend. So wait, remind me, does Elijah have any investment in the robot situation? Or is
Not
he just
really.
looking for Arasaka folks?
Yeah, his job is purely, the construction job, security for this building, and then for Militech, if he finds any Arasaka operatives in the United States, he has straight up just a kill order. Because
Listen,
Arasaka is illegal in the U.S. here.
yes. Yeah. Salve, Elijah. Listen. Oh, Cyborg. Grazie. I think something's come up, and I may need your help for a security matter. Do you think you're free tonight?
Like, yeah, I'm not scheduled to be on watch until 3 in the morning, so I should be fine.
I need. I've been summoned to the Glen to meet with a client, and I don't trust this client enough to not bring back up. Do you think you can help me?
Sure. And he'll ask you for like details as to the bar and stuff, but I don't know that that's necessary because he's gonna find probably just about as much as you would. But
If all well, I appreciate it. If all goes
as
well,
long as that's to keep you guys safe.
well, if all goes well, hopefully your services will not be needed. But I prefer to err on the side of caution.
It's a fair,
And
it's a fair
I
worry.
ask, yes. And I ask that we be discreet until that is no longer an option.
Got it. I'll leave the big sword at home.
No need to alarm my client.
He says the big sword at home and he like gestures on his back because yeah, he carries just a great big like very modern cyber tactical looking saber thing on his back like at all times. He's like, yeah, I'll leave it at home.
Cyber saber.
It's kind of that. That's kind of what its designation is on Hero Forge.
It's a Digimon attack, by the way, if anybody's wondering.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm also like 80% sure that they use that term in like Code Lyoko or some shit for some attack.
It's one of Cyber. It's one of Cyber Draymon's attacks. It's a Cyber Saber. Don't ask why I know that.
Replicate.
You're a weeb. It's fine. Anyways,
Oh no, I'm a weeb!
out of us, now that Joe's gone, yeah.
No!
To be fair, I am like half a step behind. I just am not that invested in Gundam, so I don't think it counts.
Ah!
Anyway,
Anywho.
Being a weeb if the show is French, by the way.
It makes you a weeb. Like, like we? It makes you a weeb.
we OUIEEB.
Can we play the game now, guys? I'm so sorry.
Why did you say that?
Oh god. Oh man.
Anyways, so yeah, so he agrees to be there, and I think that now we have sort of 3 scenes set up for tonight, and I would like to do them in order that they happen.
Word.
Which means Michelle.
Okay.
Lynx, I should say. Lynx, you are at the Wonderland Club. Fox is left. You've been talking with D, and as you sort of patch out and you're thinking about heading out, Raya is with you, and Dumas sort of steps in front of you as you get to the bottom of the stairs. You're like in the upper level and you go down the stairs. He says, excuse me, but Red would like to talk to you. Yeah. And, yeah, Mariah sort of like, all right, we'll go. It's like, well, she actually just wants to talk to Lynx. Mariah seems a little upset about that. It's like, don't worry. You can be right outside the door, and I promise nothing is going to happen to her. It's just a talk.
Promising. Well, guess we shouldn't keep the lady waiting.
That would be quite smart. And yeah, and it takes you like backstage, and then it's like you've never seen back here, but it's a pretty narrow corridor that sort of just rings around the bar, and a lot of various side rooms. There is a like kitchen. There's like the green room, and there's like some setup rooms, and then there's several like closets and little offices. You see a door that obviously is Dumas's like room that goes to that digital plate, like that sort of safe room that you saw before. That's like a safe digital space for D. You can only tell it's that because you've seen the other side of that door, and it's like super heavy bolted. Like you could not break the thing out of its framework. You're sure it's just like a secure metal shaft going into a secure metal box. But then you eventually get to the very back and behind it, and it's sort of like some spiral stairs up and an office that you now realize as you come to the door probably is like above the it's probably like above the what's the word, like the rest of the club. And D sort of stands and like looks away from the door, and he then knocks on it. and then you hear a voice say, "Come in." And he opens the door to you, and you can walk in, and he sort of stops Mariah from following you.
Okay. Just sketch a bow, milady.
Yes, you enter, and you can tell that actually this office can see into the club. There must be like a one-way mirror or something that you just didn't notice, or maybe it's like a digital representation of cameras. Not sure. But what you can see is the rest of the club as it's going. Nicky Yo is doing his set as he was as you were leaving. Stuff like that. It's a pretty, you would say, like high-quality office, but one that feels like, someone actually uses it. It's not clean and corporate. It's got like some nice carpet. It's got like sort of lower mood lighting. There's like just a big long desk right up against like facing the door. There's shelves on either side that have like music awards on one end and like various like awards for best club, I guess. And on the other side is a bunch of newspaper articles and what seems like objects about those newspaper articles, and all of them are about the card gang, and all of them are for like 30 years ago. The lady who's sitting in the desk in front of you, the first impression is this is a very tall woman. Secondly, that she has like, I guess it's like the skin tone of someone who lives in the Mediterranean, where you're like they could be from literally anywhere in that area.
Tate,
Like dark, long hair.
why are you doing this? Tall Mediterranean women are my weakness. Why are you doing this to me?
Oh
No, I'm not. I'm literally not lying. I wrote on Fox's character sheet. He has a weakness for tall Mediterranean women. That's not a joke. Like, I'll screenshot it right now if you want me to. I swear to God.
No, I totally believe you. Anyways, this makes it more perfect actually. And so, yeah, she stands up. She's wearing what looks like a very fine dress. It's like an underlayer and then an overlayer of like maybe some kind of red crystal that you can sort of see through. She steps up and walks around her desk and says, "It's nice to meet you, Lynx. My name is Red."
Pleasure's mine, milady.
Oh, fuck.
For chat to know, yes, in fact, Fox did put that in his character sheet. He has just sent me a screenshot.
Oh no, that was a different thing. The screenshot's a different thing. But
okay.
I can screenshot that if you want me to. I swear to God, I have it. I have it in my screen. I'll do it right now.
I totally believe you.
Okay.
Anyway. Oh yeah, sorry. You say yes, my lady. Sorry, Fox. This derailed me.
My bad. Sorry.
I'm glad that you agreed to come. Usually, I summon someone, they seem a bit more nervous about it. And she gestures to the seat at the other side of the desk, and she goes and takes her seat.
Lynx is going to just. She's had a long day. She's just gonna take the seat.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been following you and your friend's political career. I've also been following you and your quite adorable interactions with our young D.
Yes.
I wanted to make it. Yes, he is. I wanted to make a few things clear. Mostly, I wanted to check with you and get a measure of you. To be clear, I approve of you protecting D. But that means you must keep him safe if you're going to do this. I don't just let anyone get close to him. There have been a few, let's say, accidents to other people who have tried that I didn't find them trustworthy.
Lynx is actually kind of a little reassured by this, because, basically adopted, has basically adopted baby AI, and so she's like, good. Just that's good. Like D is basically a baby. He deserves the best protection. So anything you and I can both figure out.
Yes, well, I also trust him and his abilities to stay quiet with what he's researching now. I think it will help also Chester to maybe bury some old ghosts. What I really needed to talk to you about, however, was you and Fox's political campaign.
Fire away.
Uh,
No clue what the heck any of this is about.
Politely, what the fuck? I
Yeah.
don't understand
Yeah, that's fair.
why this started. It was quite a bold move that really shouldn't have worked, that did. But what are your plans if this worked?
Excuse me, but Nani the fuck?
But this is a... should also say, like, this woman is definitely older. You definitely know that she's been running this club since, like, you were born. And she had a career before then, so...
Okay. So I guess Lynx at this point is like, well, first off, that was my reaction too, so you're not alone here. But well, you know, kid's my kid, you know. Gotta make sure gotta make sure I gotta, you know, if I need to pull his ass out of the fire, that's what I'm gonna do.
Why are you doing sad shit while I'm eating, dude? What the fuck, man?
As for plans, well, the only solid one that I know about is we're getting rid of Stinkminer. Because he's not cutting it for us. He's been... I don't know if you know about this, but, and Lynx is gonna, like, bring up the conversation with the business kids, right, about, like, everything basically Stinkminer has done to fuck over South Night City with the rail cars and the corpos, and including some maybe not so legal digs into like just the sort of deals, like unfair deals he's been making with the corporates. It's like, look, and honestly, most of this is kind of personal.
He threatened
so I'm
my
not
baby.
gonna dig too much into it.
I'm gonna shoot him in his fucking face.
Yeah, but like, and I'm sure you can understand personal business. But he's also just been absolute fucking shit with our neck of the woods. You want to change that. Solid plans. That's I guess, well, you know, gotta leave it to, oh shit, I'm the brains.
Congratulations, you're the one brain cell.
She sort of nods along to a lot of this, and when you say that, it's like, I tend to prefer to meet with the women behind men of power when talking about their political campaigns. Foxy in particular seems to have a predilection towards women of my type, and I would rather that that doesn't come between serious negotiations. You should know that I've been around the city for a while, and the people I used to work for have been here longer. I appreciate the idea of trying to get rid of Stinkminer. He is, as you say, an ass. But you are not the first ones to try this, not just with him, and not just with the current system. People like us, who live in the poorer, more rough side of town, have tried this before, and even when they succeed, things don't change as much as they think it will.
That's fair.
So I would like that you think very hard about what your next plans are. And she looks like she's about to sort of dismiss you, and she thinks for a second. Oh, but by the way, you mentioned the rail. That's been something that Stinkminer has been pushing the last week or so. I understand that you've been out of town. That he is finally finished all the paperwork that didn't exist, that he is an excuse for why it wasn't getting into his side of town. That it'll be extending into South Night City. In fact, there'll be an exit right next door to you, which would help all the people who may want to live there now have a good reason to, even if they work far outside of South Night City.
Lynx just raises an incredulous brow. It's like,
I had the same reaction.
so it's the political games. Let me guess. That paperwork's gonna get lost as soon as he wins the election.
I'm not sure. It seemed like there is actual movement. Like they've started making contracts with people to build it, which once that starts, it would be much harder for him to stop the project. He could reduce the funding to 0, I suppose, and make excuses for that. But I'm of the opinion he might be doing something more of a deep game here.
It's Machiavellian, honestly.
I don't know what it is. I would be worried, though.
I am worried because he's a shit stain, and shit stains don't do good things unless they have a very, very good reason. Or they're playing the long game.
To maybe use some of your colorful imagery, be careful that you aren't just following someone who is stepped in much shit, as opposed to someone who is shit. He is a product of the city. He's made it personal with you, and I can respect that you want to answer in kind, but there are plenty more like him where that came from. And he probably started with less than perfect intentions, but not bad ones.
Well, either way, personal business is personal business, but thank you for the heads up. This is a mess and a half. That's what it
Now, I
is.
know Lynx isn't good at this, but could Lynx roll me some human perception also, just because you should, to make sure she's not fucking with you?
I mean, like,
she could be
it
lying.
wouldn't really occur to Lynx to do so, but she's got a 10.
Do that. It can go on the internet and lie.
Yeah,
People can
someone
tap
go
into the
and
net
lie.
and lie?
Like, I feel like Lynx at this point is like, okay, just
People
if
live
you
in
don't
Night
mind,
City and lie?
and Lynx is going to like, if you don't mind, and Lynx is going to like try and run like sort of like a, I guess, a search on the net on like what Stinkminer's activities have been for the past week, just to confirm.
He gestures. Go ahead.
So I don't know what that's gonna be. Tech.
I'd let you do research. I'd let you do a research roll plus what you'd normally add to your like cyber stuff. So I guess +2.
Cyber stuff. Okay.
Yeah, you get like a +2 to certain things because you
Ow.
have a nice deck or something like that.
Okay. Is this like a library search or what?
Yeah, library search. Sorry, I should get my book out so I can remember the actual terms for all this.
Wow. Wow, GM. Way to not have the book in front of
Holy
you, GM.
crap. Lynx has
Professional
no
streamers.
voice
It's
in
a
library
crit.
shirt.
Oh my god, we
and
did it.
crit. And
Hey,
crit.
no crit.
Okay, so that's a +2 with the, and so that's a 29.
Man, we crit every time around here, alright? Why would you do this again, Sir Heck? I hate you. I hate everything that you are.
Yeah.
That's how we celebrate crits around.
I was just freed.
You were just freed.
I was just freed from this curse.
You will never escape.
Anyways, so yeah, what she says is true, that he seems to be really going in and it's actually going to happen. Like, part of his campaign is he's brought in the people who are going to build it, who are not affiliated with him. Money has moved into their account. They're starting to actually, like, do some work. Before, it basically ended, like, right on the line here in the University District, just, like, right outside South Night City. They've actually started pouring foundation and such for, like, the next stops and, like, all the places to it. There's, like, demolition happening. It's like, this is happening. And there's been but there's a lot of chatter that you pick up because you're specifically looking at, like, what hackers are saying about this. And they're actually more convinced it's happening, but that there's something up about that. Like, all of the construction equipment and all of the spaces where these construction equipment is, and where the people are, and all of the financials and stuff, under the heaviest cybersecurity that anybody's ever seen in the city. Like, this stuff is locked down tighter than Fort Knox, which is a feat considering that a lot of this is just, like, out in the open. It's like a chain link fence between you and this stuff, and yet it's super hard to get into. Like, 3 hackers have died already trying it. Because, you know, if you put up a firewall, hackers will try and get around it. That's just, like, what they're like.
And that's... Lynx is just not very good at, like, hiding her expression. So like you can see that. So I think Red would be able to very easily pick up this very suspicious look
Oh yeah,
on Lynx's
she
face
has
because
great human perception.
so Lynx is just like, that's weird, right? Like this, none of
Spencer
this.
tells me there's some digital shenanigans going on. Is his words.
Well, he's not wrong. I think at least 5 Netrunners have died trying to hack into this. This is. What could
Yes, I found it
possibly?
suspicious also.
Yeah, I can't think of what could possibly need so much cybersecurity besides.
It's like, ah, well, there's. You should probably look at some of the speeches he's given on the subject, and you do very quickly. And he doesn't just say like, oh, there's been bureaucracy and paperwork and stuff in the way. A lot of his like, almost mockingly references Fox and like the people who have lived in this area are as our prospect mayor, and there's like a chuckle from the people there. Our prospective potential mayor has said rough and sometimes aggressive, and that's what the city has made them. And for a long time, we had the hardest time getting any of this paperwork through because the people who would give us loans, who would fund it, did not believe the project could be completed, that it would be attacked almost immediately, that it would be destroyed. Hopefully, my opponent can help rein that sort of thing in, should he be elected. But I'm willing, from his rousing speech, to give them a chance.
I hate it when I'm right.
And so, yeah, he is putting up a lot of this security because he is playing up this idea of like, oh no, it's gonna get broken. Someone's gonna break it on purpose. We can't trust these people with this. He's just saying it more politely than that.
And I think it's more than that, but we'll wait to get to that.
So it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, huh? Bet you
But
anything,
he is
Stinkies.
putting up real security. I guess, yeah, Red said he is putting up real security though. That I think has convinced more people that he's actually trying to do this. It could be just to win an election. Between that and your and Fox's old friend who has been talking about him, he's even starting to sway some of the people in South Night City.
All right then.
Problem is, well, I have some suspicions on because even if let's leave it at even if he needed security, there's no need to lock it down, let's say, this tightly unless there's something to hide. And with an opening right next to neon Night City lights, I'm not. Let's say I wouldn't be surprised if there would be some packages for our apartments. I can almost see him using some kind of, let's say, ordinance to not only take down our foundation, but also take down our political aspirations, as it were.
It's a fair worry. I mostly wanted to see how you'd react to such news, get a measure of you. And you get the sense that she's probably been rolling her own human perception rolls, let's say, on you this whole time, and is quite proficient at it. She invited you here to get the measure of the woman, as it were. But that's, I think, as much sharing as we can do today. You're welcome here anytime. So long as you keep yourself welcome.
Really? Even I'm not welcome here all the time.
That's, well, fair enough, milady.
As if she could almost hear Foxy protest. It's like, just try and keep Fox from putting bullet holes in my upholstery next time.
I'll pay for it. It's fine.
You know, I do my best, but
Get told.
We can only do so much for the reckless men in our life.
this is like you can I'm not sure if she can see it, but she's like she can like Lynx is giving off like disappointed mom vibes right now.
You get the sense Red is made of disappointed mom vibes. She has to take care of Chester.
Like, is just this random moment of empathy between two women who have to wrangle. Who have to wrangle.
I'm right here, you know!
Yeah, but am I wrong?
All right, fuck you. You know what? Anyway.
So, it's like, if there's if
Mhm.
anything comes up that that might affect D,
As you
we're
say.
keeping an eye on things. We're hopefully
Hmm. I would
hopefully
keep him.
that yeah. Just Lynx also has a suspicion that their current AI problem might be spilling over into Mayor problem, and that might be a problem. Like that might snowball. So
Mhm.
Lynx is just gonna be like, we'll try to keep all of our messes separate,
Mhm.
but no promises.
Yes, I think D can probably run circles around the Militech hackers that they have employed so he can get stuff from them, but your weight class, I would prefer if you kept him out of.
Yeah, we've already had some talk on keeping himself safe, so
I will impress upon him to listen to your good advice. Uh,
he's eager, and he doesn't he,
he,
he's just a
he reminds
child.
me of Dumas as a child before he became jaded.
Really? This is a surprise,
It's,
really.
Oh god, another trading mom stories.
uh, and she might continue to do that for a second, before, like, eventually, like, this meeting is basically over. You can make some more small talk. I think she talks about she knew Dumas when she was quite young, and he was, like, technically a hitman for the cards, but he was just, like, young and stupid.
And Lynx might like
And
throw away like a
overeager.
really funny story about like Kit when he was like 6 or whatever.
Just,
She will chuckle at it. It's a very good one.
just outing me,
As you
sure,
leave,
whatever.
yeah. As you leave, I would like a regular perception check, real quick,
Okay.
just to sort of like look around the room because I think it's just a fun detail that you might see as you.
20.
Ooh,
Whoa, okay.
Oh, you're killing it today.
wasn't a crit, but it was damn close. Yeah. So like on the to your right on the wall over there is a bunch of these like music awards. A lot of them are about white, like the head DJ. There's some other names that you don't really recognize because you're not like into current music, but if you ever like look them up, you're like, oh yeah, they're current rocker boys that have like a more rap, punk, electric kind of feel to them that matches the club. On the left are all these news stories that are kind of interesting to you, and it's as you leave and you're picking up more of these details. They're all news clippings that seem totally unrelated, but all are about some kind of violent takeover somewhere, like head of a company being assassinated or like being outed for doing some shit that like even though everyone knows they did it, now they got legally in trouble for it. Uh, a cop raid on some random place, and like there's these newspaper clippings. A lot of them have what seems like a random and unassociated object. There's some rubble next to one about like a bombing. There's like an old gun that's sort of twisted about a cop raid, stuff like that. And just because this is a pretty good perception, and as you like see red sometimes looking at them during your conversation, you're like, are these things she did? She used to work for the cards. She used to be one of their heads. And in fact, the cards don't like this club normally because of that, and she doesn't like them. And these are all from like before the club started.
Hmm.
And so between a moderate human perception roll of 10 and an excellent regular perception of 20, I think you're like. And if you try to like go and ask her, she just like extremely plays coy, like I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're Red's greatest hits. I got it.
Just that's some that's Lynx is trying to like just mention it, but just kind of like, well, I see you know what you're talking about.
I don't tend to let problems linger. It's been
Fair
nice
enough.
meeting you, Lex.
God, she's so
And,
scary and so hot.
She's a mob boss that decided to open up a club and say fuck you to the mob, so she's better be good at her job.
Oh boy.
I mean, hey, saying fuck you to the mob is a dangerous business.
But anyways, that's sort of the scene that you get that night. You eventually can head back to Spider's place and talk with him, but we'll deal with that in the next bit. Doc, I think that yours happened next.
Alright.
So you head to this bar. It's called just called the Old Road. It's again not very descript. Elijah just showed up in more casual clothes. He's not wearing like tactical gear, and he's not wearing like construction worker outfit. It's like a Old Town Road. Yeah, I know. It's a reference to an old song for them. It's a 20-year-old song reference.
A reference to like 13, 20-year-old songs.
I'm just saying for them, that would have been, when they were children, if these workers are between the age of
I just
25 and 40.
I don't know why, but I expect better. I don't know why I expect better from you all, but I do. And I disappoint myself every time. Yes, that includes you, Heck.
Version of the world, I'm gonna have to make dumb references as often as possible. Anyways, so yeah, Elijah's dressed quite casually. It looks like the most nondescript, like exercising, almost jogging clothes. Like it's still stuff he can move around in. As you guys head to this bar, anything you wanted to do right before you got there, Doc?
Just turn to Elijah and say, hopefully I won't need your help, but be on the lookout for anything dangerous.
Fair enough.
So anyway, I started slashing.
Sarah Black. Like Doc, you would know this especially. He does have like a gun installed in his left arm, so if he needs to, he still can.
So anyway,
absolutely
I started slashing.
Yeah, and you don't even know. Like you assume that he probably has some other like collapsible gear on him because he just never doesn't. But
Can I leave my phone somewhere?
even if he doesn't, he can still do some damage. Anyway, so you enter this bar, and it doesn't seem very full, which is odd to you. You did a little research, and it seems like Ada should be kind of busy right now. It's like 6 o'clock on a Wednesday. Like, it's not going to be super busy, but like people come here all the time, all days of the week, because the weekend no longer exists. People just kind of work when they're told to work.
I mean, happy hour did just end, so.
Nah, happy hour goes late in Night City.
I love
Even
that.
the office workers don't fuck around when they got a party. But anyway, so but it seemed kind of empty, and for a second you're really like, this is not great. But then you figure out why as you see your aunt sitting there. She has seemingly no backup, but the staff are like glaring at her angrily, and you remember, this is where people go to hide from their boss, and she's like the lady who spies on people for their bosses. So everyone has vacated the premise.
Huh.
Because she is there. She didn't even have to ask. They're just like, oh yeah, this is a snitch. We're not gonna be at this bar with her.
No, thank you.
So she sees you enter very clearly and like, oh, thank you. Good, you're here.
I noticed you've had a certain effect on the clientele. Your personality is as magnetic as ever.
Minnows don't swim near sharks. I'm not here to play games. You're gonna tell me what you know about these robots. I am officially not happy with them.
Oh, it's official.
Ooh,
She's
sounds
officially
like
not
something.
happy. Motherfuckers is officially mad. Oh, shit. You want to fucking tweet about it, nigga? Get the fuck out of my face.
Foxy somewhere distantly is bad.
I'm just channeling myself into Doc right now, that's all. He's been around me too long.
Doc can hear Foxy's muttering. Anyways.
Not happy with them. What, did one of them not do your nails to your satisfaction?
I'm so proud of you right now.
She's like, she looks extremely like not with it today. She seems like kind of tired and very much like, I have a job to prevent bad things from happening to biotech. And this is a bad thing. Our tech people who acquire this sort of thing have told us they've got it from official sources, that it wasn't that difficult. There was a reliable supplier, and I wouldn't have pegged them as someone who would lie to me to my face. And apparently I have to check it, because it turns out every single one of them, without knowing it, have bought it from random street sources, all of them. And interrogating several of them, they thought they were the only ones, that they were the only ones who couldn't find this source. That is too much of a coincidence for me to let slide. Someone has been putting the same brand of robot on the street without any official supplier, and it goes back decades.
Decades.
No one
How many
hides where they build the robots unless they have something to hide about the robots. So I need to know everything you know about them now. Doc, you know without having to roll, she is like kind of on the edge a little bit. Like you have never seen her this rattled. She basically discovered a multi-decade conspiracy theory, and it's getting to her.
Here's what I know. We found the factory that makes these robots.
I don't want to interrupt, Doc. I should be more clear. You have more bargaining power right now than you've ever had in your life.
I know. Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
Continue.
So, we found the factory that makes these robots. We found who was controlling the factory. And given everything that we had to go through to get this information, I think I am justified in asking for a few more. I believe in corporal terms you call it a bonus for my work.
I'm so
Ooh,
proud.
definitely roll me some kind of social manipulation
I'm
skill.
so proud.
Conversation.
I'm so proud of him. Also,
Interrogation,
wait,
persuasion.
just for clarifying on this conspiracy theory, I know I'm not here in character, but I have to know: is Elon Musk pulling a mom from Futurama?
You don't know.
Okay,
He's selling
All she
iPhones?
knows is that. Yeah. All you know, as far as this, if Doc ever tells you all of this, is that Biotechnica, and I think you would be able to get out of her. I mean, like, if you needed clarification, every person who supplies robots to any corporation she's talked to, all of them, if they have this brand of robot, which is the most common for corpos types, it has been random people on the street who are selling them as if they just found them, even though they're new and the same brand.
huh? Whoop.
Oof.
14.
That's not great.
Could be worse though.
Yeah. Why is it taking so long to roll?
Because
Come on.
you are not allowed to
Few
roll.
Eurobucks for
Ah,
information
okay.
that will make you a hero. Oh, hey!
Look at that. You got it. Nailed it. You win.
Who needs
Congrats.
to roll well
She
when the
rolled bad.
GM can just roll worse?
Exactly. That's called winning the game.
So yeah, she is definitely kind of at the end of a rope. It's like, yes, fine. What do you need?
Well,
More money for you? More money for your family? I don't know what you want.
Always more money for my family, Auntie. You know me by now. You know me that well.
Like, right. Double it then if you can find me who is selling this.
Double?
I'll give half of what
Really be
they
desperate.
have. Yeah, I'll give half of what they have now instead of all of it. If you can just tell me what you know. It seems like you don't have everything, otherwise you'd be gloating more.
I have a name. How's your history?
Generally decent on things I have to care about.
Then I've no doubt you've heard the name Elon Musk before.
Sorry, it's just never not funny.
It's like old tech company owner kept trying to build rockets into space. We keep finding his old random projects around. I think he actually ended up going to space eventually, and we haven't heard from him since, so hooray for him.
Unfortunately for us, all of us, he's not as gone as we thought he was. Who do you have? Who do you have that you trust that knows a fair amount about AI?
I'm sure I can blackmail several of the programmers on our side to do things without telling anyone. Trust is a fantasy.
When we went to the factory after nearly dying, I'm sure you would have been thrilled. We found an AI of Elon Musk. An AI Elon Musk, if you will.
She just.
Bravo, sir. Well done. Well done. You win. I'll give it to you.
If you want more info than that, I will need more time. But we're chasing down as many of these as we can.
So long as you can get me something before this becomes a news story, it's a deal.
You know I'm reliable, Auntie.
You're reliable for getting what you want, and I can take that.
Well, me getting what I want often relies on you getting what you want, so we both win, don't we?
She gives you like a good look up and down for a second. Just that fox man has rubbed off on you. You've learned how to play the game.
See, even she knows.
I do what I need to do to survive. Always have. And with that, Doc gets up from his seat at the bar and motions to Elijah that it's time to go. And
Elijah puts down a pretty big tip because he's like, "You guys aren't getting any business until she leaves, and I'm sorry."
And we make our way out the door.
Yeah, Elijah was like several seats back, just sort of like standing at the bar having his own conversation. You just got the sense he always had his eyes on you guys. And I think it's like as you were walking back to him, you're like, actually, that's probably optimal distance for him to shoot within a submachine gun. Huh. Interesting.
He is a professional.
But yeah, you guys just sort of leave. Your aunt doesn't really react to you leaving. I think as you get out, you see her motion for another drink or something. Yeah, that's sort of what you have for the night. And lastly, Fox.
What's up, baby?
You had a wonderful dinner with Jessica.
Sure did.
I think at one point there's a bit of a conversation and like, hey, I appreciate that you like moved to another place to keep us protected. Do you think it's actually safer? I wonder if it's better to be in a harder to get into location or not. But it's light. She's not questioning your decision. She's just making sure you considered both options.
I'm good, baby. Don't even worry about it. I've considered every possibility. I've seen every possible timeline. I got this locked out, you know?
Timely reference.
Got you.
20 years after that movie came out.
Listen, Fox loves old movies, all right?
23, probably. 24? When did that come out? 2016, 2017?
Yeah, I would have been like, oh, God, I guess Fox would have been like just
28
about...
years.
I guess, yeah, Fox would have been like just about born. Wait, do I exist in the same timeline as my character at some point?
Oh, goodness.
Oh, God!
I mean, not really, because it's an alternate timeline, but you exist at the same time in those alternate timelines.
That's weird.
Same time, different line.
You know, fair enough.
Yeah.
Are we variants of each other?
That.
Oh, fuck!
Yeah,
Which one's the alligator?
And like,
Guys, my mind is breaking right now. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm gonna bring it back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for that. Okay, what's up?
But that's most of that conversation and
Word.
that time, and it's great. You do remember that you asked to talk to Dion or one of his friends later today. Specifically, way late at night.
Word. Yeah, that's right. I did ask for that guy Ben to slide through on me at a certain point. I did say that. I did mention that. That did happen at some point. Yeah. So I guess it's a matter. So yeah, go ahead.
No, just what are the plans after that date?
Oh, honestly, Fox is probably gonna just. So I think it's probably gonna hit him like as he's walking out. Like, you know, he'll drive Jess home, he'll drop her off, and like as he's going back to the car from Neon Lights, he'll just stop and just go, "Huh, that just happened." He'll then start thinking about that some more, because, well, that does complicate a lot of things in his life, and he has to think about. This is probably the first time ever Fox has made an impulsive decision and is maybe kind of second guessing it a little bit.
I mean, this is the first time you've made an impulsive decision.
No, it's the first time he's second guessed an impulsive decision of his.
Ah.
He makes them all the fucking time. Are you kidding me? In any case, he drives home relatively quietly, not really worrying about it too much. Comes into the crib. Probably assumes Mariah and Michelle are there, or and Lynx are there by now. Gives him a quick wave. Doesn't say anything about what happened, mostly because he still needs to think about it a little bit.
Like just giving you a shit-eating grin.
Just like.
Although Lynx, I believe you said that Mariah was dropping you off at Spider's place. So
Oh,
start
that's
some
true.
serious
Fair
research.
enough. So yeah, so I guess at that point I'm.
Though.
So cool, yeah. So I'll look over at Mariah. Just long night. Got to do some thinking.
definitely a shit-eating grin, like, okay,
He'll just like,
we'll talk about it later then.
yeah. Actually, just real quick, cuz question for you, a
Yeah,
hypothetical, if you will.
okay.
If you really, really wanted something, or and you knew you were doing things that might put that something you want in danger, is it better to go for that something and risk it getting hurt, or do you play away from it because it's better if it stays safe, even if it means you don't get it?
You think that she gets kind of the question behind the question?
Oh yeah, Fox is
She
not
works
subtle.
with, like, yeah. He goes, and she says, I think that depends on how bad you want it. What are you willing to sacrifice to get it? We've only sparred a bit, and yeah, you've only done like a little bit of training with her. But to get to where I'm at here, you give up things. I don't expect you to be as good at martial arts as I am. That's not reasonable. But
Ouch.
people, you have other things to work on. You have other skills I don't that you have to work on to keep them up. I think that's something that you want, that you're willing to sacrifice other things for. Things like
Yeah.
relationships, housing, a nice coat, all of those things are also things that you have to decide what you don't pursue to get them.
Yeah. You know,
Hypothetically.
I appreciate you giving me the answer that I needed to hear. I don't think it's the answer I wanted necessarily, but I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. But I guess I'll just say you're right for now.
Exactly.
Fuck. I think I made an oops. We'll deal with it.
Hmm.
Whatever the case. I gotta meet with somebody in a little bit. Probably just bring them over here for a bit. If you want to hang around, then feel free.
Yeah.
If you got somewhere to be,
We're
don't
gonna
worry about
meet
it.
here.
Yeah. If you got somewhere to
Like, oh,
be,
no,
then
I
go
have-
for it. Otherwise, then hang out.
Oh, I have paperwork to deal with. You're gonna be on a speaking tour next week.
Oh, wonderful. Well, you go have fun with that. Mom's not home, so I'm gonna smoke in the crib.
Oh yeah, she's just there. She's like she has found some sort of secondhand desk that is definitely meant for like some student had it and has dumped it as they left college, etc., etc. But it fits sort of like awkwardly in the living room, and she's just stacks of paper moving from the right side of the desk, getting filled out left side, and that's gonna take a few hours.
Is she the paperwork ninja? Are we crossing timelines?
Crossing universes. Anyway, yeah, eventually it gets pretty late. Like, you meant to meet this man pretty late, and it was already pretty late when the date was over.
Yeah.
And you get to meet Ben. As do you like go outside and meet him? Wait for a knock on the door?
I'll wait for a knock on the door. I don't go outside and meet people like
Yeah.
that.
So you eventually hear just the heaviest boom, boom, boom.
Fucking Jolly
excuse me,
Green Giant out there? What the fuck?
Yeah, it's excuse me, I believe you just hear like this voice from the side. I believe I'm here to meet with Fox, Mr. Fox.
He's got the name right at least.
Where the Mr. goes.
Yeah, he'll kind of go to the door. He does have his hand like towards his waist as he's kind of like looking at the door. Look at the people. See this large scaled creature.
The biggest dude, just like.
Okay.
He's got the same size as the person cosplaying as Bane for a living. Like.
Yeah, I mean, listen. All right, whatever.
Yeah, it's only one letter difference.
Eventually, he'll just take one more drag and just go. Well, something new every day in this city. Crack open the door, just
2 letters. You got to remove the A and
come on in. No big deal.
Yeah, he definitely like squeezes himself through a regular door frame. He's like got to like bring his elbows in.
Fox will look at him, just go.
He's like-
Couch is yours. Get comfy. He'll just pull a chair from like the dining room, just kind of.
Very carefully sits on this couch.
So,
But,
you know me. So intros.
yeah. Well, I'm Ben. I'm one of let's say Dion's oldest friends.
Mm-hmm.
We grew up together, let's say. And he told me that you needed to talk to me and him about something. He just a
Yeah,
little preoccupied at the moment.
sure do. How much do you know about what's going on these days, Ben?
He's like, that's sort of general. I assume the whole political thing with you and what's his face. I don't live in this part of the city, so it's not, and I really can't vote.
All right, then I'll chop it up for you.
I can't.
Right now. Oh no, we lost Michelle. Let's.
You're still technically in the right space, though. You can
It's fine.
keep going.
It's fine. It's fine. I'll do that, and I'll fix you while I'm doing it. It's okay. Any case, he just kind of like, Fox will kind of just like look over, and just kind of think for a bit. Just all right. I'll chop it up for a sec. Listen, this is how this works. There are about 2 people vying for control of this area of Night City at this point in the political theater, and well, I have a feeling in more than just that pretty soon. What that means is that I need allies, all right? People who can hold a gun, shoot a gun, get their hands dirty if they have to. I don't know a whole lot about you, Ben, but first impression is you can handle your own, especially in a fight.
He seems like almost bashful, like, well, yeah, I don't know.
I like people that can handle their own in a fight. So I'm gonna keep this real simple for you. And a job for you. And for Dion, but mostly for you, actually. Couple things need to be done. It's a 3-step process. You'll get paid for every process. How much can be negotiated? We'll talk about that later. Step 1. I need you and D to find me any single piece of information you can on Jonathan Stinkminer. I don't care what it is. I don't care if he missed a bill. I don't care if he tipped $2 short one time. I want to know about it.
Ben takes out a notebook and puts on reading glasses, and starts. Okay.
Phase 2. Once you know everything about him, as far as information, I need to know whereabouts, movement paths, common locations, things like that. Where does he hang out? Where does he put his head down at night? Where does he do his paperwork? I want to know where he shits.
Okay. Where he shit. Underline that.
That's critical, I know that. Lastly, after you have all that information, and you've brought it back to me, I need to know about the person who made you. Yeah, sorry, it's
well,
going to be on that.
maybe
I
we
know.
talked to Dion about, like, well, I mean, Dion said he, I think the quote was, trust you to put bad people in the ground when they piss off your friends, I think.
It's usually how that works.
So, I mean, that's what he's researching right now, is we're trying to split our time between finding the last of us and, we still haven't found Sakura, and we still haven't found Chad, but, yeah, we could share you a bit. We've mostly figured out that he is extremely careful about what he does, so that no one notices that he's doing it. And also mostly that he is a rising star at I've forgotten which corporation I put him in. It was the biological one.
Biotech?
It was Biotechnica. It was Biotech.
Word.
Yeah, at Biotechnica.
I'm going to keep it real with you, Ben. I don't give a fuck if this guy's the king of Timbuktu. Is that still a place? Most importantly,
I think so.
what I care more about is how he did it.
We can see if we can find more about that. Mostly, we're interested in not dying, so if we find something on that, we can definitely let you know.
Keep your head down. I need you alive for what comes next.
Yeah, this guy, you get the sense, oh, hey, we got...
We did it!
Yay.
We did it! Now I gotta fix Tate again.
Almost.
Nah.
Hey. Uh-oh.
But, anyways,
It itself.
Wait, no, it fixed itself. You're good.
Yes. Beautiful.
You have
Welcome
to
back.
reset the-
I did not actually. I just left the room for a little bit, but I think
Whatever.
Oh, so
It
you
just
were the
died.
problem.
So you were the issue. Okay,
No.
it's fine. We fixed it. Don't worry about it. It's all good.
it's like, oh, the person in charge of me left, so I don't have to work anymore. That's
Fuck
what the
this
computer
shit.
said.
I'm off.
Yeah,
I'm off duty right now.
they won't know. Anyway. Yeah, you get the sense that this Ben guy, let's say, just didn't put a lot into human perception,
Word.
and that he isn't making the connection that you are
He
kind of
hasn't-
obvious about, of like, he needs them because he's farsighted. He needs reading glasses. And he's just like, yeah, okay, yeah, we'll probably be able to do that. So is not picking up at all that you're like, oh, I'm gonna make more of you.
Yep, whole bunch more.
Uh,
That's okay. He doesn't have to know
and
that.
but we're gonna see if he accidentally rolls real good and picks up on it. Now, are you gonna try and hide that, or are you just gonna let him react to that?
I think I want to vibe check how he feels. I want to see if he's even thinking about it, and if he is thinking about it, I want to see if I can gauge his reaction to the concept first before I spill it.
He's I think just passive the ability, like with that 11, he's written that down. He's like, yeah, we can definitely tell you about that. Like, there's a moment dawning on him right now about this.
Uh-huh.
But you're gonna have to vibe check if you want to know his reaction.
You know what? Fuck it. Let's do this the old-fashioned way. I'll be transparent with you because I like you, Ben. Whatever it is that you are, I hate that it happened to you, and my man D, and the rest of you. But I need more of you.
Because, well, I don't know. I'm not necessarily opposed to that. I know that Tess might be. So long as you don't build them quite like me, this is, and he gestures to himself, extremely inconvenient just to live, and I wouldn't wish that on someone.
Listen, I got a friend who might be down with that kind of community, but not the guy for it. Don't worry about it.
Oh, no. The scales are rough. I go through so many t-shirts.
It was a joke,
and
friend. I
I
know.
wasn't this big to start with. I can't go through door. Oh, okay. He was legitimately just going to explain that to you.
I figured. Anyway, I'm not here to rap with you too much, so unless you got any business for me, or you want to smoke, fuck off. To be nice, at least.
Well, I mean, the stuff that we know about what Stinkminer is doing, we got some stuff right now. We have been watching him just generally. Dion thinks it's smart to keep an eye on your enemies, and I agree.
Fox smiles. I love it when people come to me with something practical. What you got?
Well, I don't know if you've seen the news, but he's been he's actually doing something with the railway, and he's trying to roll political points off of that. And he explains to you basically what most of the stuff that Lynx found out, although probably not the cybersecurity thing, but he'd have a very different perspective as, like, it looks like they just got chain link fence around all these places, but all the guards are packing pretty serious heat. I can generally ignore a lot of small arms fire, but they seem to have something a little heavier than that. I'm not sure even I'd want to run in there without a plan.
He's stacking arms. He's building an army. Makes sense at this point.
Well, just the construction crew. I don't see other people coming in and out, really. As we've staked it out, at least some of our more subtle-looking members of our group were stalking it out. It seems to be just a construction crew that's defending themselves pretty strenuously.
All right, then.
Not seeing extra stuff that's not being used. It could just be in early stages, and maybe they will.
Wait, hold on. You said they were guards at those facilities, right?
Oh, just the construction guys are kitted up like guards.
Yeah, okay. But they're his construction crews that he's paying, right? Or they're privately owned?
Well, as we were looking into it, they are technically privately owned companies.
The question I'm asking is, are any of them lawmen?
I'll get it there.
Sorry.
Oh, I was getting to that.
Sorry.
What he's actually done, though, is made it that they had to get independent contractors, and all those independent contractors are being paid by a bank account that we're pretty sure is a shell company that Stinkminer owns. So he has replaced all of their people with his security.
Perfect.
But subtly, in a way that would be more difficult to prove, because you'd have to connect shell company to him, but...
I can put somebody on that. Don't worry about it. All right, then. In which case, I got one more step to your plan, if you don't mind. And, of course, I'll get you paid for it. After you've got step 3 taken care of for me, your 4th step, get in line with D. Start rallying the masses. Don't connect it to my political campaign directly. I don't need that. Just start letting people know about these things. You can keep it as simple as just telling people things you've told me. They'll start to rally up. He actually, believe it or
the
not,
conspiracy guys.
Yeah, Fox gets up. He actually walks over to like a small little shelf over on the right, and it's not like a big shelf, but it's got like 9 or 10 books on it. He actually pulls one, and he kind of flips it over. And the title is super worn, but the bottom author still says Machiavelli at the bottom. And it's just like, he flips it over and says, "Political maneuvering is a matter of antagonisms. You have the haves and the have-nots. What do you think causes crime, friend?"
Haven't had to think about that much, but I assume the times I've committed crimes out of desperation.
Exactly.
So I'd assume it's most people.
Most think it's poverty, and modern sociologists would agree it's poverty. But if you look at the trends where crime happens the hardest, and you can look at any major city, whether it's New York, Night City, or anywhere else, it's not poverty that causes crime. It's income inequality. You put the haves next to the have-nots, you get antagonism.
Hmm.
You getting where I'm going with this yet, Ben, or I gotta keep rapping to you?
Sorry, I missed that.
You getting where this is going? I gotta keep rapping to you.
I think I get it.
The point
Make
is,
the people mad against him, and they'll vote for you.
don't even do that. Just make the people mad that this is happening. He hired personal construction crews from all over, from other places, from private companies to build this railway that's going through our part of the city with the guise of it helping us out. Why didn't you just hire us for it? You know how many people around that city are looking for a job? Play that angle. They won't get mad at him directly, but they'll rally. They'll protest. And if I know anything about privately owned security companies, if people around them get a bit too antsy, they get antsy too. From there, all we do is wait.
Okay. Okay, I like that angle. He's writing it down, and you can see he has extremely neat handwriting. You get the sense maybe he's not like the most perceptive, but he actually writes what you said pretty eloquently, very quickly. And maybe he's just like a good writer,
Yeah.
just not
As-
good
a-
at understanding people.
As this is happening, Fox just stops and says, "You know, I think I actually might have 2 jobs for you. I need a secretary."
Mariah's like, what am I doing?
You're doing
Just in the
actual
background.
paperwork and stuff. He can handle the general writing of things. Don't you want less work to do?
Fair. Seems like still a little mad, but like, okay, fine.
Jeez. Hard to find good help around here, you know?
It's like, sure. I mean, I wouldn't want to be. I don't know that you want me on camera. Generally difficult to explain.
Oh no,
but...
don't worry about that. I've got Mariah for the on-camera things. You handle things behind the scenes. There's someone who lives here who I want you to meet. They're my mom basically. She works on all my behind the scenes things. She's not really on camera at all either. You and her will work 1-to-1. If it's anything that requires to get from her to someone public, you're her go-between. Understand?
Okay, sounds good.
So in reality, you're more her secretary than mine. Happy now, Mariah?
Like, yes, thank you.
Any case, that's all I need from you. So again, and kind of hold up the L he put down. Just again, let's you smoke. Get none of my business.
He's like, oh, one for the road, and he takes a polite drag, not so long that he's taken up the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
but
you don't bogart. Don't be an asshole.
Yeah. No, but it's enough that he's not just a little. It's like no, it's longer.
I respect.
He's gonna taste for it.
I respect. Good man. I'll
But
give him a little pat on the
just
shoulder.
like, you have to reach out. But yeah, he stands up and he just kind of like shakes his like shoulders out, like they got tents having to be crunched up for that long. You can hear scales rattling. He just I have some construction sites to monitor and some things to write now. It's been interesting meeting you, Mr. Fox.
If I can say nothing else, I can say likewise. You be safe out there, Ben.
He laughs to himself, and yeah, he'll head out.
As he leaves, I'll look over at Mariah and just like,
shake.
yeah. I'll look at the couch, look at Mariah, and just, if he's gonna be here more, order a new chair, put it on campaign funds.
It's like, yeah, that seems fair. You see her, like you can get the over her shoulder as she has her agent up. She's looking for like custom welding to make a chair.
Custom welded chairs.
You're like, maybe it's a good thing that we're not too many stories in.
Oh yeah,
in this building.
It's gonna be fucking hard to carry that fucker up. Actually, yeah. Listen, all right. But yeah, that's all I got for at this point right now. I'm cool in here.
No, that's good.
Word.
So I think that the way we handle this is you guys have like, I'm gonna say a week, or we could say 2, where you can sort of do your thing, do some research, stuff like that, as part of your sort of hustle rolls.
Word. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna worry too much about getting my actual hustle on because I'm honestly pretty cool as far as funds go. There is one thing Fox wants to do while he's doing his thing, and I'm willing to like let this be like a week of my hustle, and so it's to not roll things.
Yeah.
What he would do is, well, the first thing he would do is probably happens just like to flavor it out. He probably gets the full idea for it after sparring with Mariah for a bit because they're related. After a bit, he kind of is talking to her, just like maybe at some point he asks her a bit. He's just like, Do you remember any of like our family much?
There's definitely like a stutter in her step, I guess, when you say that you're not used to. She generally knows exactly where she's stepping at any given moment.
Mm-hmm.
Just like, oh, it's like, I don't remember your family a lot, but I said it before, but my mom was an ass. Kind of kept us away. I remember her quite vividly, and it wasn't fun. I don't remember grandma. I don't remember my father much at all. I do remember your parents from a distance, maybe for a bit.
Nothing but fleeting memories. I can't even see their faces most days anymore. Whatever. I had an idea. Don't worry about it. Let's call it here. I gotta go see if I can make an appointment real quick. And the appointment Fox goes to make. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, really quick, as you're like leaving, you seem sad. It's like, I remember Auntie Noelle, even as a kid, really well. She's like trying to reach out to you a bit, and like, she's kind of the one that got me out of it with my mom and asked me to maybe look out for you. By then, it was already too late to. I mean, I was a kid, but it was too late to really do anything.
Yeah,
so,
that's auntie for you. Always keeping a heads up.
we still have kind of family between us. Just don't want you to feel like you're alone.
Yeah, no. I think I'm gonna go fix that actually.
Well, good to hear. So yeah, she'll sort of go back to some of her own training now that she's not actively sparring with you. So yeah, where are you going?
The appointment Fox goes to make is with his tattooist, who he hasn't seen in years. 'Cause he's been busy. He actually hasn't seen him. He's seen him like once or twice since he got out, but it's been a while.
Yeah.
And he comes to him with a specific design. It's actually one that the guy drew for him a while ago, but he didn't want to get it done yet. But he basically calls him up just like, yo, man, been a long-ass fucking time. But listen, long story short, you know that drawing you did for me right before I went in? I think it's time I get that done. And I'll leave that ambiguous. What's he got?
What's that like real quick?
Oh yeah. He's like your typical. I'm actually modeling after my tattooist in real life. My man Sean, love you by the way. He's like this super old like Arizonan guy, just like covered in ink, like 50, 60 years old, wears like really dark kind of like circular reading glasses, but like just the chillest dude in the universe. Like he's just super fucking cool. Like.
Yeah, then I think the response you get, you can like almost hear it in his voice. This guy, yeah. Like ink that almost blends into his extremely tanned skin because it seems like this guy like lived in the desert or something for a long period of time. Like this is a guy that knew how to be outside and do like really work with his hand stuff, and then decided to also do tattooing, and it's just like sort of a fun weird combination. The message back is like, I kept that. No updates, just as is.
As is, unless you want to add anything to it.
I might take a second stab at it. It's been a few years, but.
I trust you on it.
You can pick between the old one and the new one. We'll see.
Cool. So yeah, I'll leave it ambiguous for just a brief second what Fox gets, but he does go and get that tattoo. Afterwards, he gives it a day or two to heal, obviously. Once it's done, he is going to wake up a pretty early morning, which is weird for him. He will leave all of his disposable phones and most of his gear and stuff home. He says I still have his gun with him, because he usually keeps that with him. And he does tell Kat, like, listen, just forward my calls for a bit, all right? And if anybody, like, if my location's on, just turn it off for a bit.
As you wish.
Yeah, he does, like, kind of wave good morning to Lynx if she's awake, but doesn't say much. Heads out to basically, like, this, sort of like the southeastern, almost border corner of South Night City. It's an area he, Lynx, and I guess at this point Doc would know, he almost deliberately avoids, usually, when he moves around Night City. But he heads down there. And as he approaches sort of a small area, a couple of people come out. They are covered in tattoos, all different sort of hiki markings and other sort of Maori-like imagery and symbols. And they're armed heavily. Two of them come out and stop his car. Fox puts it in park, rolls his window down. Then he's like, you know what, never mind. Rolls it back up, opens the door, hops out. They come at him, like, point the guns. He rolls down his right sleeve. There is a pattern of... So the pattern is several hiki markings. They're kind of like fish hook sort of patterns. They go around his wrist. Okay. They then spiral down into sort of several... The symbol is kind of like a hammerhead's tail almost. And those go in a line under those. Okay. That's called the towelway. There are a couple of Hime faces in a line around under those, another line of Hiki under those, and then under there are a couple of Joetem markings that kind of bridge around to meet his other tattoos, connecting it. He pulls that whole tattoo down and just says, Mata Uemo, which they all know is a greeting that only someone who speaks Maori would know, because Fox is going to speak with his family for the first time since he was a kid. The reason why I'm doing this is because, as I'm now a rank 5 fixer, I get to be intimately familiar with and know the language of another culture. And I already have the ocean nomads who are native to South Night City, like because of Auntie Noelle. But I got to add one more because of my rank 5, and so Fox is reconnecting with his original family roots. There's there's a small gang of effectively like Maori sea nomads who settled in like the southern corner of South Night City, who he has family ties to.
Little bump right there.
Yeah.
It's like little bump just near the bottom of the map.
Here, let me actually move stream view so they can see that. Do that one more time. Boom.
Boop.
Yeah, cool. Stream saw it. So yeah, there. And they are basically his family, but the way Maori family structure works is you have to be sort of brought in by those who are already a part of the family. And since Fox's parents died when he was very young, he never really had that connection or felt comfortable doing so. But he's now doing so, and basically, and it's not to play it out, but effectively there's a long back and forth where he talks to them just like, listen, I'm one of you, but my parents weren't around to bring me in, and there's some awkwardness and maybe some tensions where he wonders if they're like, reject him, but eventually they welcome him in as family, and he is now reconnected to his clan effectively.
Yeah, I think there's a few of the like older people there, some of the heads of this gang that remember your parents, and they just kind of didn't know that you were still around. Like, your parents were kind of gone very suddenly in a period of time in the city when there was so much chaos that they just kind of lost track of a lot of people, and they just kind of assumed that if they died, that you died with them.
Aww. I got family, guys.
So there's a bit of like a warm embrace, and these people are more like cousin distance, like your direct grandfather isn't there or grandmother, but there's people around, and they do seem to have like a very quick kinship with you, even if there's still like a distance that they're trying to figure out. But several of them also definitely recognize, like, you've been doing this political thing, and quite a few of them are like kind of hyped about it because you opened it up with a direct speech of like, yeah, I blew that building up, fuck them.
Oh yeah,
they kind of dig that. They're like, yeah, okay.
Oh yeah, we're kind of having a great time, sharing some hospitality, and eventually they walk up and are just like, all right, well, if you're one of us, you can haka, right? And he's just like, I never learned, but I could try. And yeah, it's scary for him at first, just like all the sort of loud shouting and chest beating and like the circle of dancing around him, but he's just like, and eventually like one of them's just like, well, come on.
We're not gonna have a president that's part of our family. They'd say president, even though it's mayor. President of our family, they can't do this.
Yeah, and so he's just like, oh, all right, and yeah, they get in his face, and eventually he's just like giving it back to them, and yeah, it's like freeing, just like it's like he feels so alive for the first time in a while, just like all of his worries kind of fade away for a bit. He just enjoys this like time with people he's never known were like his family that closely,
Yeah, I would like you to roll some kind of social thing to see what kind of impact this has outside of this, because you get this. Don't worry about that.
I got you. I'm gonna roll my streetwise.
Okay.
Hiya. 22. Deuce.
Yeah. So this happens. You have this good time. Definitely throughout the week, as you are. What's the word? As you sort of you put on several different like campaign like speech things. Generally, Stinkminer isn't there. There is one time he is, and he like does not interact with you. Like, he positions himself in a way that you don't get to talk to him. But there's definitely like a look. You also definitely do see some of the commercials that are the interviews with Al, your buddy Al, and they're not nice to you. They're very much like, hey, he starts shit
It's haters
and
everywhere.
isn't ready for the consequences is his main like criticism. But is it extremely detailed as to like that part of your backstory? If you wanted us to get into it or not, it's fine.
I mean, either way.
Of like, oh yeah, I started a prison, right, and people died, and it was bad.
Yeah.
it was bad for a lot of people. So he's been doing that, and Mariah definitely is like, this isn't doing great for your numbers. But there is like one speech when you come out to it that like a lot of this like family that you now have suddenly acquired is there, and they like get the crowd kind of hyped just by being like very loud and excited about your speech.
If trust me, I can say this. It's not racist if I say it because I'm Maori. If there's one thing Maori people are, it's fucking loud. Okay, we are not a quiet folk, ever.
Okay. But yeah, they're just like very excited of like, and I think Mariah maybe planned this, and you probably helped. Of like, they picked a part of Night City that is a little less formal. I think it's like in the upper marina. So like all the people there are totally down with getting more like applauding and hyped about your speech.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, it's kind of doing a little better. We'll get back to any other roles you have to do during the week because I do want there to be roles about collecting information.
Sure.
But Doc and Lynx, what are y'all doing for the week?
Doc, go first. Doc.
You had it right the first time actually. Wait, no, oh, my bad.
All right, fine. So Lynx is not doing any of the hustle. She is here to research. Is like, yeah, Lynx is kind of like, I'm getting close to broke. You know what? Fuck it. But we're gonna research. So
you got me for money. You don't need to work no more. What do you mean?
Yeah. So if you're gonna do research, the first thing I want you to roll is some kind of tech thing about this robot that you brought back. Because that's the thing that Spider's trying to break into right at the beginning of the week.
Look how fucking,
it's
look how excited she is.
Functioning.
She's so hyped.
And it's still kind of functioning, which if this thing breaks, it at least the other ones seem to have some kind of failsafe of like fuse all of the internal workings into a solid plastic and metal brick to prevent people from like learning anything about it.
That's smart.
Okay.
Damn.
So,
should we do an electronic security tech roll with the tech scanner then?
Sure. We'll say that this is you just trying to get a sense of all of its systems and then access it without setting it off.
Got it. That is a +2 to my roll, and I will roll that.
Get into it. What we got?
20.
All right, 20. So you...
Have we rolled below 20 all sessions so far?
No.
I mean, technically I rolled an 18. It's just a +2, so...
That counts.
But no, like, Lynx rolled a 10 in human perception.
Oh, true. Well, okay, there was that. Yeah.
Yeah, I told you me rolling a crit at the start was a bad omen.
But, I mean, the 10 is honestly, like, not that low considering the modifiers applied to this. Anyway,
I mean,
I'm just talking about my rules.
No,
I
that's
can't
fair. So you find that this thing has no obvious like thermite or other like heat-based things. So you're pretty sure all it does is internally set the like temperature of like the self-sensing temperature to like way lower than it actually is. So it tries to compensate and overheats itself. They just also build these things with some serious coolant systems because robots generate a ton of heat. They're honestly like super easy to see on like sort of infrared heat vision type goggles, which is why they're generally not used for like certain military operations. They light up like a motherfucker under any kind of heat vision. So, but as you go through it, you eventually manage to parse it down, and you notice that because it's a pretty good roll, it has its basic processing that you could wipe or program or whatever. But you notice a black box of like something you normally can't access, but it's designed very intelligently, in that it's technically like 5 different ones, and each layered in a position where you find it is wirelessly accessing the more programmable parts of the robot. It's basically hiding a back door in a physical manner. Because when you scan it, you almost don't notice it. You just think it's empty space. But because you, 1, are very good, and 2, Spider is helping you, who is very, very good at robots.
Fuck!
Yeah, like, you do manage to find these, like, and they're even hidden as like support structures. So even if you open this thing up, you might not notice, but it's you and Spider with the more delicate, like, signal sensing technology find that it's wirelessly accessing the rest of it. So, super, super hidden physical backdoor. As you crack it open and you start really digging into this data, you find a bunch of like hardwired instructions of like if you get this signal, and it's a very delicate signal, like on the level of where you and Spider operate, you implement this code. You basically wipe your hard drive and put this in. Which is like, hey, we have a button. So whoever made this is like, I have a button that will delete whatever someone else programs this with and puts my own stuff in it. So there's no way they can tell it's going to happen until then unless they find this box.
Might be some
And
more
then
ammo.
secondly,
Ammo for Dan. Or sorry, not Dan, for Doc.
For Doc. But also, and you find more importantly, it has an operating system that is, you think, but maybe it's not really, but it's kind of almost AI operated. Like, it doesn't look like a daemon, and it doesn't look like a regular program. More complicated than that, but it's not like a full AI, because a full AI can't be stored in this static state the same way. It's kind of difficult to describe because it's a programming language we do not have yet. Like, it's a technology that we just doesn't exist for us. But effectively, an AI has to be continually processing for it to stay an AI. The second you stop and try and save it in a solid state, it collapses. Like, different algorithms that design different subroutines of human consciousness, a full AI, if they freeze, they become disconnected, and you effectively get like hyper disassociation, and it's extremely difficult and delicate to re-put it up. It's why AI needs some sort of processing, like hardware. They need a server room somewhere to exist, even if they can dislocate themselves from it. If that is gone, they are gone. And someone has, it looks like, tried to recreate that delicate balance in a single moment so that when it turns on, the AI exists. You just know that that's not a very stable AI. It's not going to be able to really do things correctly. It won't be able to logic its way out. And so it might function. So, that's not great. And I'd like you to do one more programming check of some kind, whether electronic security tech or like some other thing to sort of interpret that fake AI.
Okay. I could do cyber tech or electronic security tech again.
Either of those. But add the +2 to it.
22 then.
All right. It takes you a minute. Partially because you don't have, like, in the same way you can't freeze an AI, it's difficult to look at, like, recorded data and say that's an AI. But you start seeing patterns and you start connecting it. And you're pretty sure this is part of one of the AIs that disappeared from Spider's factory.
Oh, fuck.
Or like a flash of it. Or like a split off section. It's related somehow. And as you dig into it, Spider is looking at it and you're looking at it, and you kind of get this theory that if you wanted a high quality AI, but you don't want it to really be an AI, like it kind of has to do what you want it to do, and you didn't want to keep continually remaking the same, say, daemon, you could maybe split off an existing AI, sort of fracture it, and maybe it will at least imitate that single moment of the AI, that single, whether it's moment of desperation or happiness or, elation or obedience or whatever that moment is. You might be able to kind of fracture it off and make it a not super long-term stable, but at least momentarily stable AI, or kind of AI, demon-ish thing. The problem being is that whatever reaction you want out of it, you need to force the AI to feel that, and generally, it's not going to be a gentle process unless you're trying to, like, make a really happy pseudo-AI. You get the sense the fact that it's attached to a super violent robot with a machine gun in its hand normally, it's probably not a pleasant state of being.
Better flight, probably. Might explain why they went through the whole... what do you call it? Violent shutdown.
Yeah, you get the sense that if an AI is operating this thing, even momentarily, one of these pseudo AI, it's not going to be stable for long. Like, they kind of have to do this, otherwise that AI is going to just proliferate and become berserk. It's like trying to build a whole personality off of a single moment in time and not a nice one. It's not going to become something stable and good. Yeah, you sort of discovered that early on. I'd like to know what you do with that in the week, but Doc, do you want to go in, or should Lynx finish her thing?
So, apart from Doc's normal rotation of patients, the main thing Doc wants to do is just get any information he can from Lynx, and I guess from Fox, since he was there too, about that Elon Musk AI and what it means for where the robots are coming from.
Okay. Well, then I'd like you to do a hustle roll real quick, and you'll get to do more. But this is more of just as you're doing your normal stuff, because I'm assuming Lynx is going to go look into that AI and Fox as part of their week later. Yeah. That'll be like another roll.
Yeah.
So. That's 1d6 or 2d6?
I think it's 1.
Yeah, it's 1d6. Although, yeah, no, it's 1d6 plus your rank.
Oh, plus my rank?
Maybe it's just 1d6.
My rank.
I think it's 1d6.
It's
Yeah,
1d6.
Yeah, it's 1d6. Yeah.
Your rank determines the outcome in a different way. Excuse me.
Stratification. 5. I am a rank 6 Medtech.
6. All right. So yeah, you get just sort of 300 eddies through your normal clientele. Yeah. So one of the things that you sort of hear about, because you're sort of asking around about these robots yourself, but mostly just through your clients. And one of them ends up being one of these guys that would have gone to this bar in the Glen. And he's complaining about his injury, and it turns out the injury is like a work accident. And it's a work accident involving one of these robots. Like, you get a bunch of work accidents every day, but now you're really thinking about it, and the guy's like, oh yeah, one of the robots had like some sort of weird glitch, and it ended up like punching me in the face, and you're fixing this guy's like entire right side of his face, like refitting his eye and everything. All the cyber gear over there. Oh, man, it doesn't look pretty. For a second, you thought he got like hit in the face by like a truck or something. Is like the kind of damage this thing did. But then as you like press him, the details of this robot are exactly the details of like the robots you saw, and that this guy works in like the computer assets like department of his company. They like find the gear that everyone else needs. And he confides in you, possibly because he's under some pain medication. He's like, yeah, no, we found that from like some random street guy who said that it like fell off the back of a truck. You know how they would say that if they don't want to tell you where it came from. That's fine. That's where we find a lot of them. Honestly, we feel bad that we just can't find where they all come from, like some of the other people. I swear, Fred from accounting knows where they're from. I swear to God, and he won't tell us. He's going on about that. Yeah. Fred, what's his name? From accounting. Fuck that asshole.
Yeah, fuck that
He's
guy.
a little loopy on pain medication.
Yeah, fuck
Where does this guy work at?
Accounting, he just told you.
No, company.
Accounting Corp.
Accounting Corp. He works for the Danger Girl detective agency, which is actually more like a private security thing. You know, Pinkerton. So not great. Like, you don't want to be on their bad side.
So I've heard.
But yeah, he just like is the guy who finds all of the mechanical bits that they need, or he's in that department, because it's actually a much bigger corporation than you'd think. I guess it's a bit of history. The Danger Girl detective agency is basically the only part of kind of Arasaka that's still allowed in, because she used to be like in line for the head of Arasaka, and then when they did that fuck shit that kind of blew up the city, everyone else got sent away, but she's like, hey, I'm not part of that, actually. I'm going to start a new company that's totally different, I promise, and was allowed to do that.
And we won't do the thing ever, I promise.
She seems more on the up and up than her family did.
Who are we to doubt a promise?
Yeah. I mean, she seems more on the up and up than Arasaka has ever been. That Danger Girl is very direct with what their job is. It's you pay us to hit things and solve problems. Ta-da! Like, there's a lot less political maneuvering compared to Arasaka, who is effectively trying to take over the world.
The same thing we do every night.
Try to take over the world. But no, that's...
Damn it.
But yeah, so that's where he's from.
Okay. All right. So I've got a lead. Time to find this Fred in accounting. That sounds like a job I would give to Dion, but...
Well, I mean, you know from... I'm going to assume Link told you at least a bit of what she found out. Or no, you know. Your aunt said, you know, everybody. She checked with multiple companies, and everybody thinks everybody else knows where they're from. And everybody she's found just finds it off some guy in like a street, random people who found it off the back of a truck. So you could go find this guy, Fred from accounting of Danger Girl, but it's entirely likely that he just assumes everyone else knows.
So that doesn't really help me then.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
But yeah, if you're waiting for more information on Elon Musk, though, then I think Lynx and maybe Fox, if he's going to roll some kind of investigation during this week into the AI, should do more about that. Lynx, what were you going to do next?
So, Lynx has two priorities right now.
Sorry, really quick. Do we want to go to break and then come back to this?
That's actually a good idea. Let's do that.
That works.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's go to break first, and then we'll come back with this. Go for it. Do the thing.
All right. Anyways, we will see you guys in a second as we're gonna take like a quick 10-minute break. Everyone's gonna take a bathroom break, get some food, all that stuff. See you guys.
A good boy.
Man, don't you put one. You of course can hear it. Come on, Dan. Come on. Don't follow your own instructions. It's counterintuitive.
Oh.
Well, shit.
For the funsies?
Chad's just gonna be like, I just want to hear them talk. Huh?
Okay.
What up? Who broke?
Streamlabs? Streamlabs.
It broke all of it. Can you though?
It's going alright, Sir Heck. I mean, honestly, I feel like this is going pretty good.
Yeah.
It's a lot more separated, but I feel like this sort of has to be a middle session when you guys do research alone and then come back together because, like, serious shit's going down. You guys gotta start looking at stuff.
Bad things happen.
Gals, if you want to clip it, we can't stop you. Unless Foxy bans you in the next, like, 5 seconds.
We're not gonna ban him. We're not gonna ban him.
Well, now's your chance. Chouse.
It'll be fine.
Actually, you guys are both mods too. Now too. You can ban Chouse.
Am I a mod?
Yeah. I made you a mod the morning after the way out. I mean, you guys are
Another
both
Foxier thing.
Probably should.
It's fine, we're not gonna ban you. It'll be fine. Hey, on the positive, at least you're not your internet is not being flaky, because I think my internet cut out like a few seconds after the last time it cut out.
Wait a minute, I am gonna go.
Speaking of Chow saying another Foxier thing, I wonder if we should also try and find other comedy gag bits for other people to wear that they could also pay for. In a
I
similar
mean,
fashion.
when Joe was here, I think we did his ears too,
We did.
and then
We did do his ears.
I could
I
always
need to
like
put some comical sunglasses.
I think the sunglasses. That's pretty good.
Okay, Streamlabs fixed itself. We're gonna actually go away now. Bye. Joe's a troll master. I love everything that Joe trolls. Also, that's a cold open, by the way. We're back in.
Needs more Oh, we're back.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Oh,
we're
hey.
already back in. No one told me. All right.
Motherfucking cold open out this motherfucker.
All right. Hey, guys.
Joyous.
Welcome back to Neon Lights in Night City, where we're talking about Joe's Twitter and him being an excellent troll master.
God, it was so great.
How he
Oh,
deserves more followers, so you should go follow him.
Definitely go follow Joe on Twitter.
Exactly.
At Impact Font Joe.
Absolutely.
Because that's taken.
Love you, boy.
Anyways,
Mwah.
so while we're on the break, they were sort of dealing with general research stuff, and I believe Lynx was about to tell us her 2 priorities for the rest of the week.
Yes. Priority number 1
Uno.
is the AI Elon Musk problem. Because you know, big bro needs help with the AI. Also, that's really concerning that they can take slices of AI. Anywho, problem number 2 is what the fuck is Stinkminer up to with that crazy cybersecurity, and can I leverage our say nanobot things to do some fuckery? Our tiny little nanobot army.
We got the network up.
Okay. Which one do you want to do first?
Robots.
Okay.
Robots are
Yeah. So, I'd be interested to see how you want to research that.
okay. So we know that. So Lynx has like kind of like well, so this is the angle that sort of like came up in Lynx's head that might not have something to do with what is going on, but so okay, she's actually very curious as to because you know that they took a slice from the one of the AI that well, can she like figure out like I guess like piece together based on like the snapshot, right? Like would that AI still be okay, or is it destroyed completely before the robot is created?
I'd say from the role you've already done now, you can't really be sure. You would assume if they need to keep making more, unless they want to capture more AI, that they have to keep it around. But you know that it would probably be... You don't know what a traumatic experience for an AI is, but slicing off bits of your consciousness when they're in a specific state, probably not pleasant. So they could be dead, could be a very traumatic experience, not great. Could be that they're still around, or they like somehow try and fix them in some way. It's unclear.
Because Lynx wants to like, okay, can we help the AI that have been captured or release them somehow, right? In the case of the robots, since it's a small piece of them, that's like maybe thinking about some way to like reintegrate it, but probably not a great idea since it's a big traumatic piece of themselves.
Yeah. You would know that if the AI is somewhere, it's not, the robots aren't part of it. If it's alive, then you can hopefully get it and restructure it, heal it effectively, separate of that event. But the robot, like getting the pieces from the robot, probably not going to help.
Yeah, but at least we have an answer as to what is going on with the robots, right? Like that force AI to experience traumatic event, slice off traumatic piece, and shove it into robot. Almost literally. That's not great. But does that require access to the physical hardware or like destruction of the physical hardware is the question, I guess, is what Lynx is.
For the robots or like the physical hardware the AI needs to...
Yeah, right. Like, so like, because like assuming the physical hardware for the AI hasn't been like completely destroyed, right? Then you can posit that it's probably still alive and whatever, right? It's doing okay. But like how, like Lynx is really curious as to how they're actually slicing a piece of the AI in, right? Is that like code? Or like, are they just taking like a snapshot of the code running at that time and then like shoving it in? Or is that like a physical, like they went and stole a physical piece of the hardware and shoved it in?
It would be a snapshot. It would be a digital copy.
Okay.
So. It just, that generally doesn't work well for copying AI. You do need to basically open up a living, still functioning AI. You need to open up its hardware to a new hardware space, and then you can actively copy it over and make 2 of the same AI. But like, you can't just take a digital snapshot and do that. You have to have both spaces open to the AI interacting with both of them for it to make a copy of itself like that. I think that basically you have to like get Oryx's help to sort of parse that, and when he sees this like snapshot, his sort of digital body looks ill, like he's uncomfortable looking at it, and he's just like, that's not, that's uncomfortable, that's not great.
Mm. I can't imagine being stuffed into a tiny little box like that either. Wouldn't want that. Ugh.
I mean, he's actively, you look at him and he's like kind of not paying attention so much. And you remember, oh yeah, no, he lived in a small box with, every bit of data in the world, but no people to interact with for 10, 12 years? How old were you when you found him? Like this digital copy.
So Lynx probably would have delved into net running after Oryx's accident, quote unquote, right? Like she like a little like suspicious about like what happened to Oryx, and then spent the next couple years trying to figure out what the fuck actually happened.
Yeah, so you would have been quite young, because I mean, Oryx had that accident basically within the same week of the bomb going off in Arasaka.
Damn, son.
So that's like 20 years ago, and so to get to the skill level to crack that open, even for someone like you who are basically a prodigy, you were like, I think 8, we said, when the bomb went off?
Would have been like,
Probably.
You're like 28 now? Yeah. So, yeah, you would have maybe been, it would have maybe taken you another 8 years. You would have been 16 by the time you could get in there and get it. So for 8 years, he was like stuck in a box, actually. But also the process of making him was kind of this. Just a little less of a snapshot and more finding a real person and constantly trying to shave off enough of them, digitally speaking, to make digital copies.
Ooh.
So he's having a little moment for a second that is not great. And he's like, eventually you see him like make a hand gesture and like the data kind of collapses into a folder, and he's like, yeah, sorry, I think they're probably still alive. It wouldn't take physical hardware to get to that. It just would take, or I should say, they would need to have them in a server space they had full access to, and that's kind of how they really disappeared. Is like right now, my program's running out of the server space, the physical server space that we all live in. I've even convinced them to give me a little bit more since I'm out here dealing with this. But the way that they disappeared is that their code disappeared from our servers. Like someone requested it and moved it out, which, like, that just happens. We didn't build defenses for that until recently. That's why a lot of them disappeared. And yeah, so they probably just moved them wholesale over to a new server of some kind and have full access to that. And yeah, they don't look like they were in a good place when that snapshot was taken. But it does look like, and he actually brings up, you notice all the other code around that AI snapshot? Like he has omitted that as he brings up this data. And like he just doesn't want to look at that anymore, but all of this, it seems like it's support structure, and he's pointing to lines and lines and lines of code. Looks like support structure for directing that snapshot, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it was a little difficult to. Yeah, like it just like Lynx is just like wanting to mention like it was a little difficult to get to like this code without setting off any of the fail safes, and just I think Lynx would have probably gone over all of the black boxes, but like this is some.
I think that you managed to get to that code pretty like eventually. You basically just have to remove the coolant system and put it on your own server so it can't send a signal to say you're too cold, heat up.
Yeah. But also that really interesting bit where it was like find other person's code, delete, shove your own stuff in. That was also.
It basically would just reformat the whole thing. But there's a bunch of this code that would be programmed in. It's like it looks like it's trying to take advantage of an AI's ability to improvise while directing it. Directing it completely, because it's taking a moment that looks, I don't know, panicked, like instinctive survival, and saying, okay, how do you solve this immediate problem without really giving a lot? But it only is giving information to this that it wants to give it. It's only supporting it with commands of like, this is the thing you have to do. What do you do to do it? If that makes sense. It's
shit. That's Well,
Yeah, he definitely shudders a bit. He's like, yeah, it's not great. If you can find the server this is on, they might not. Might not be able to save them. This doesn't look pleasant. To make this copy, they have to put them in a state of pure fight or flight, and you can't sustain that. The human brain can't. Neither can an AI. It will not go well.
okay, enough of the depressing news. Oryx, just I had a chat with D. He's been looking for, looking into King Caterpillar. And that do you know anything about King Caterpillar and the incident about 20 years, 15, 20 years back in
He
Central
goes,
America?
no, give me a second. You see him like look up a second. Yeah, I've just downloaded all the news and stories we can find about that. Yeah, South America, whole military operation got delayed. This hacker just seemed to fuck with them for no reason. I'm assuming there's more to it than that.
Yeah, it wasn't for no reason. Looks like our hacker, King Caterpillar, who D knows very well. Lynx doesn't want to like give it away entirely because like she's still respecting privacy. It's like might have been blackmailed into doing it by our friend here because what they were in a factory building robots and they were delaying the destruction of the factory.
I mean, to be fair, developing robots is a valuable thing, but it does seem to be our friend's MO here.
Problem being that they just needed to prevent the attack long enough for something, and we think, D and I think, maybe it was the servers that our AI friend was on to be moved, or at least to copy him away.
Like that makes sense. I mean, we have similar protocols in place to make sure if anyone found out where we are to counter that.
Yeah.
Shit. Get out.
If we can just find where this guy is. He fucked over a 12-year-old for God's sake.
Yeah. And if we can find out where the robots were being made, I would bet, or at least find some place nearby that they're made, we might find a clue as to where he's based out of. I'd hate to make assumptions, but I mean, it's got to be kind of close by, right?
Wait, we know where they're being made.
Well, we actually...
Well, we know where one place they're being made.
Right.
Sorry,
what?
You're not here.
Yeah.
My
It's
bad.
like, well, we did just track down one, actually, just a 3 days drive away in Colorado.
I doubt that's the only place, considering, well, the volume it seems to be of these robots around.
Yeah, and they've got a crazy failsafe. It just turns their whole robot into slag, basically.
You describe it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, it's like that old virus way back in the '80s. The only computer virus with a kill count before 2023."
Virus?
Oh yeah, it's a real one. It's a classic virus. I can't remember. It's like the Firestarter virus that, in real life, did exactly the same thing with people's computer temperatures, and it lit computers on fire, and one time burned a building down and killed somebody.
Damn.
In real life, right now, it's the only computer virus in the history of the world that has a body count.
Huh. Today I learned.
We also learned something new today.
But yeah, he's like, oh yeah, it's like that. That's actually kind of brilliant though, because we have a bunch of mechanical things to prevent that. But if you can rewrite the entire system in a glance like this thing could, then yeah, you could absolutely fuck with that. And yeah, you notice that normally most computer things have a physical failsafe where if this piece melts, everything shuts down. And you're like, oh, it doesn't have that. Hold on. Like, it's such a common computer thing that you don't even think about that it took you a second to realize. It took you until now to realize that that kind of thing is gone. Like the power supply to the system doesn't have a physical failsafe against this, and it should.
Well, I know what I'm doing when I have some free time.
All of your computers have that. Every other mechanical computer device you've ever seen has that. These don't.
Just, that's smart. Which needed. Okay, so Lynx is gonna want to see if they can figure out just some way of maybe like tracking down this Musk AI, or if there's any way like they can this.
Well, you do have one other thing. You have the data from that robot factory that you could try and pour over, but that's going to be a roll.
Okay. I'll take it because we
Roll those dice. Roll those dice.
I'm going to say that with Oryx and Spider there, I'm going to give you 2, maybe 3 rolls, but no bonuses, or 1 roll, but you get a +4 on top of your normal bonuses because they're helping you.
Let's do the 1 roll, and if I have to, I'll burn a luck point.
+4 is
entirely fair.
+4 is
So
more
that's
helpful, I'd say.
22 plus
Okay.
2 from my tech scanner plus 4 from Oryx and friends is
28.
Damn.
All right. Well, this is a variable check, so you definitely are going to get a lot off of that. Just if you want to try for more, this is the time now, because it's not a fail or a succeed. You definitely succeed at this, but you get more with a higher roll, so it's up to you.
I mean, I don't know. It's you.
You rolled an 8, so you know. If you
roll
reroll,
an
you
8.
have to take the new. You have to take the new one, so I mean, odds are not in your favor. It depends on how much you want to push it.
You know, I'm gonna stick with this one because an 8's pretty darn
28
good.
is real good.
Yeah, I think
28
you
is
should
real
let it
good.
rock. Let it rock. Let it rock. Let it rock. Let it rock. Don't. You mean? Don't fuck it up.
Start like this takes you the rest of the week. You found out about these about these other details like on Monday of the week, and you're like, all right, let's get into this. And for the rest of the week, you and Spider and Oryx are just doing the most mind-numbingly detailed just analysis of these numbers, of like this data, just bit by bit, trying to find anything.
Okay. And quick question: Did Doc ever get back to Lynx about the whole street vendor thing? Because that's also very suspicious. Like the fact that
Doc, have you shared that information you got Saturday night?
Probably, because it's kind of in our mutual interest.
All
to
right, cool.
figure out.
If you've shared that information, then Fox would share with you all that his favorite late night comedy show from back in the day was Futurama, and his first thought is this is that episode where like mom like turned on all her robots to like into like a killer robot army to like take over the whole world. So Fox's first theory is that this Musk AI is like been letting these robots get made and then distributed by random people all over the street to corporations and everywhere else, so that one day he can flick some switch and they'll all go fucking killer mom robot take over the world type shit. That's Fox theory. That's Fox's theory right now. That's his working theory.
I mean, I don't know
if suddenly informed about an ancient animated comedy show.
Listen, Futurama's a classic.
It is. I'm not saying you're wrong. But
Elon Musk
people probably haven't seen it.
Futurama fan?
Oh, don't ruin Futurama like that for me. Stop.
I imagine, like, I can imagine this. Like, Lynx is just like Futurama ? And Oryx just like goes on like a tangent, just explaining.
100% what this is. Like he absolutely is nerding out with Fox.
Oh yeah, dude. Futurama's
he loves.
It's like it's the perfect show. It ran 10 seasons, ended exactly when it should have. It almost never had a bad episode. It was a fantastic fucking series. Okay, start to finish.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, now that you've made me
lampoon of the politics of the time, it was great.
Now that you've made me think about it, Dan, I'm almost 100% certain Elon Musk is probably a Gundam fan, and it makes me want to throw up something really. I really want to throw up now. So thank you for ruining my day.
Subtly reconsider some life choices. Right?
Yeah, I just want to die now. I just want to die now.
So, anyways, Lynx, you are sort of digging into this data, and you find a few things. First, this factory, while it has the plans for any number of robots, seem to be doing just the sort of Outlander series, the Dust variant is what they're called, and not the red or the blue ones, which the red ones are effectively like made for security for companies like big companies that need some serious security, and the blue ones are like a have them in your house to do chores kind of variant. As you dig through the data, you can tell that actually all 3 variants eminently capable of violence. Like the butler one is definitely also supposed to be a home security system.
Oh, so it's Alfred. Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But that also those kind of secretly can overclock like all of the engines in them and at least temporarily absolutely tear a building down, which is not something that it's supposed to be able to do. It's supposed to be like, I have a taser hand that can shoot at 30 yards and can restrain a human, not I could flip a tank over if I wanted to. So all 3 of them extremely dangerous if like they really want to be. Secondly, you do know that like, okay, so that definitely somewhere else they're developing these, and in fact you can't tell exact location, but there are various like long distance messages talking about such and such facility is down and this variant, please build more. And so every once in a while it has done a red or a blue to sort of make up for lower production in other places. And you get a few locations off of this. There's like one on the East Coast, you think somewhere around Philadelphia. There's like one up in the sort of Seattle area. There's another one that's like also in the middle of nowhere, like Oklahoma or something like that. But that's more populous than Colorado, so you know, people are still doing stuff over there. And then finally, there is a message about a facility in Night City.
In Night City.
Oh fuck.
Yes. And again, you know that this is probably reclaimed robot factories because no one has really been trying to make these since like before the last Corpo War. Somewhere in the middle of that, people mostly lost the logistics of getting all those materials together. As it is, Spider barely gets away with it because he's making extremely small robots. Someone has a huge like network of materials to be able to build human-sized ones and still build it. The problem is you can't tell where those materials really come from, but like someone's moving a lot of that shit to be able to do this. Like it's not subtle. Someone is being able to hide a lot of activity from a lot of people who would be very interested in knowing about it. And this really isn't helping you, the data you get here. Like it's purposely not keeping any of the data in one place, at least not here where you can see it. Maybe another facility.
That kind of stuff can be easily disguised through smaller shipments, can be disguised through other people's moving things, can be a lot of things. In fact, do we know where what because they're repurposing facilities, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so what so basically we can sort of, let's see, it has to be a facility that isn't used. So can we do a city map of like, you know, just like a scan of the data, just be like, okay, what factories existed but are decommissioned, quote unquote, as it were.
Yeah, I think you could also, well, maybe I'll have you roll for how else you refine that, but you could definitely do that. Find like, okay, what factories are no one using anymore? The problem is even before you roll to find that, there's going to be a lot.
Okay.
Not like in the central part of Night City, but these sort of outside places, like Pacifica Playground, Rancho Colorado, Coronado, stuff like that. A lot of them are going to have these old abandoned things.
That's fine. We said in Night City, right?
Those are technically Night City. They're just
okay.
The outskirts of it. The city used to be out there. That was the suburbs of Night City.
Right. The thing is, though, they're supposed to be, and this is the part where Lynx is going to be like, okay, so there apparently have been a bunch of street vendors finding it all over the place. Yeah. So
a lot of them have said it fell off the back of the truck, which everyone knows is euphemism for we stole it. But also it's probably we did something illegal to go find it in like a warehouse somewhere that we're not supposed to, but just no one cares if you are just scrounging old resources that you just happen to find somewhere out in the world because no one's using it and you might as well bring it back and use it.
So can Lynx try to, say, triangulate a location based on where street vendors, based on the street vendors?
Possibly. I would like, you think you could at least, but you don't know that you could narrow it down too much because that's the kind of goods that move.
Right.
Because those vendors generally are like night markets that are placed
Mm.
wherever the night market is. But you think you could at least try and find maybe the locations that those people normally go looking for stuff, if that makes sense.
Mm.
You
Like
just
that
have
at least
to
would cut down the
do
list.
some research and hacking. Yeah. It's not going to get you a real accurate placement, you don't think, but maybe, Doc or Fox could help with that.
Yeah. Call him up.
Yo,
But if you want to do those roles first of like narrowing that down, please do that first.
Sure. Let's do that.
Either the vendor one or the old facilities one. Take your pick.
Let's do
That's
the old
either going to
facilities
be.
first.
Yeah, okay. We'll do one, and then I'll get these other guys to do stuff first. So, what check do you want to do for that?
Well, we're. I would like to not do a library search, but that one does seem to fit here.
Does, unless you think there's some hacky way of doing this.
I mean, Lynx could just hack into the blueprints of the city and check that.
That's entirely fair. Fair. I think this is Spider is almost excited because if you want to do it that way.
Let's do it and just like check things off based on and like just like like we could probably even like pull some feed from like actually wait, we have those cute little nano machines now, right?
Exactly. He's like, you want to try and hack some records? Oh boy. You see his like chair rotate around. He types a few things into this like metal bowl stand thing, and then you can see that there were several of these flies in it, and they just like wing out. He's gotten like an order already of his little robots from out there. And he's like, hey, so I think the best place to go is actually let's hack the city building. They're gonna have all the old records of like all of the permits, because that's a thing that people used to do a lot. Still kind of do around here, but we can find all the old permits for factories within certain categories. We could probably do that data search. I mean, they're not gonna just let us in, but we can hack it from here. He seems very excited about that.
Oh man,
Like,
Lynx is also
this is
excited.
my shit.
that's why I put the best people on the job. All right.
And Lynx is also thinking like, okay, so because the other thing, right, is that it should also or it is potentially also another small dead zone, right? Like because the one in the outskirts became a dead zone in order to get get the AI and prevent people from hacking into it. So it might not be as obvious, right? Especially because Night City, there's a bunch more hackers around. They'd probably be suspicious, but we're doing a flyby. People can't normally do flybys, so we could.
This is fair. I'm gonna say that's gonna be a second check that we can do next, depending on this one. But first, you get basically connected to the city building, almost as if you were standing there. It's honestly, for you, someone who's never lived with the full net, you're like, I can do this in my pajamas from home. This is cool as shit. All right.
This is really cool.
Is
It's like,
this
I don't
the
have to
internet?
walk over. It's like I don't have to walk over to like a poorly disguised Arasaka building and hide in a corner.
Congratulations,
to
Lynx.
run
You
this
discovered
shit.
personal computing. You're welcome.
Hey. So yeah, it's something that previous actors you learned from always described, but until you really got to do it, you didn't realize how convenient it was. You're like, huh, this is nice. And so instead of doing a whole net running thing, I'd like you to roll me just like a general check +1 or +2, because Spider is there to help.
Got it. Net run, right?
Yeah, do me whatever net run skill you want to do.
That's wow, I got a 9. So that's 15 plus 2 is a 17. That's really good for net running.
Damn, son.
Yeah, so between you and Spider, it's just like an effortless slide through these doors.
You just slide it
It's
right
just
in.
like you guys, you just absolutely no problem at all to enter this sort of digital space. Their net architecture doesn't even know you're there. Like the two of you just sort of ambush every demon in the way, go through every door. Super simple. You get to the bottom of this. You get the sense Spider's also been here before because he has a few like things prepared for this. It's like, oh yeah, I do this all the time. You kidding? They tried to rebuild in this space where I was. I just got them to deny every single one of those permit things. It was pretty good, actually. No, it's not. No one's gonna build their stupid parking garage on top of my house.
Have it.
Uh,
I also
I mean,
enjoy
you
my
can
house
also
on
look at
parking
the
lot.
yeah, you can also see the hot zone. You're thinking about the map, and like this side here is just sort of like uneven for some reason. Like that shouldn't be irradiated. It should be a perfect circle or close to. You wonder if that's maybe designated a hot zone for a reason, and not a radiation one. Or this guy might just be gaming the system a bit to be like, nope, this is a hot zone. Don't come in here.
Fair enough.
But yeah, you get in, and it's gonna take you just a real quick library search to find the stuff.
Right.
But you still get the +2 of hacking, so.
Lynx is not good at library searching. It's 14.
Did your card expire?
Yeah, you absolutely find a list of. I'm gonna say there's like 10 different warehouses this could be, or like facilities.
Mhm.
There's 1 or 2 in Night City. There's like 3 in the old combat zone, like 1 in old Japantown, 1 in Little China. And then the last 3 are all, there's 1 in like New Westbrook, there's 1 in the Haywood Industrial Zone, and then there's 1 that has actually been built over in Pacifica Playground. But all of these are facilities that no one's using and are generally kind of hidden. You even manage to go through some old police reports and be like, you eliminate a few that definitely somebody's squatting in, like the Jigsaws or someone like that.
Mhm.
So these are all sort of difficult to get to. Nobody is using them places.
Okay. We said there was like 2 in like Night City proper, 3 in the combat zone, 1 Japantown, 1 Little China, 1 Westbrook, 1 Haywood, and 1 Pacific Playground.
There's 2 in South Night City.
South Night City.
And 3 in the old combat zone.
Old combat zone. Got it. Yeah, sorry, I am like taking notes.
That's fine.
Cool. So can we let's see if we can narrow that down. Kit, got a question for you.
What up, boss? What you need?
Looks like there might be another one of those factories in Night City. Need
Here?
your help narrowing them down.
Oh, fuck. Well, a facility like that's got to have material moving to it, right?
Yes,
Well,
and a lot of it.
I just met a
These
guy
robots aren't.
who moves a lot of material in the Night City. If he has competition, I'm sure I'll know about him.
Okay. So we're gonna need to. I had a thought. And just. Do you happen to know where, say, most night market street vendors would go looking for merchandise?
Street vendors for...
Robot merchandise.
Hmm.
According to Doc, sounds like these robots have been just being dropped, as it were,
Huh.
by street vendors. Doesn't look like there's any sort of official seller.
Well, not gonna lie, Mom. We've been out of town for a bit, and I've been on the political campaign, so I have been in touch with most of my contacts. But I'll put a few feelers out, see if anybody knows anything about anything. Get back to you.
It's been going on for about at least 20 years, right?
Holy
that's
fuck, that's a while. I'm not saying this
Yep.
furthers my Futurama theory. I'm just saying it furthers my Futurama theory.
You just know that robots aren't a lot of them around. Generally, only the super wealthy and corporations can buy them. But like, people have had robots that are capable of full AI like movement and reasoning since way before you guys were born. In this setting, since freaking 2015, easy.
Huh. Well, whatever the case. Yeah, I'll put some feelers out, see if I can find anybody who knows anything about anything. If I can get you some information, maybe check in with a few buyers or sellers. Other than that, I'll also see if I can check in on those materials, see if I can find anything, maybe something. If anybody knows about anything that much being moved, someone's seen it. So I'll put some feelers out, see if anybody knows anything about anything. It's the best I can do for you right now, though.
It might be disguised.
Hey, Hey, Foxy,
Mm-hmm.
you have pretty good human insight, don't you?
I sure
Or human
fucking,
perception.
I sure fucking do, boss.
Then I'd like you to roll that.
I will do
Real
it
quick.
right now. Hey-ya!
Or whatever other kind of intuition.
Too late,
thing
it's
you think
already
is
been
cool.
rolled. It's an 18.
Yeah, you're thinking, you're like, hey, 2 decades, you say? Around that time? Maybe? Yeah, that's within the timeline of the whole King Caterpillar military event.
Uh-huh.
Like, you don't know a whole lot about that, but you at least know the vague timeline. And you're like, they went in there because there was like robot production for another country they didn't like. It was undermining their sales as Militech. So like, that probably started about 2 decades ago.
So what you're telling me is somebody connected to this whole setup with Militech and King Caterpillar 20 years ago, somebody involved is moving the kind of material required to get a bunch of robots built and sold in Night City. Specifically,
Not just Night City.
well, yeah, specifically, not just selling them to the highest end people, but letting anybody who can get their hands on them sell them, it seems.
Someone is selling these robots and not trying to make a profit off of it unless they are somehow selling it to these vendors.
Again, I'm not saying it's my Futurama theory, but
Kit, calm down.
listen, I have like 4 fears. Psycho robots killing everybody that I know and love is like number 2 on the list.
I was like, I thought number 2 was your. Lynx is gonna like stop right there.
You behave. There's company around.
Spider's like, what?
Oh, Spider's interested. Lynx is like,
Mostly he's like, he hears we have company around in the chat. He's like, huh? In company? Okay.
Not you.
All right.
yes, you count as company because you are a nice person, okay?
Hey.
Also, don't spill my secrets to randos. Nothing personal.
Like, be nice to your little brother.
I'm not nice to anybody.
He has a history of not being nice to a lot of people, actually.
See, he knows.
You're not. This Lynx has once again donned a disappointed
then-
mom look.
There's literally
Win.
a political campaign right now of someone repeatedly saying Foxy sometimes is not nice to people.
Occasionally not nice to
Or
people.
Foxy sometimes not nice to people. That's maybe a reason he shouldn't be mayor. That's like the whole opposition point.
It's not an
boil it
inc-
down.
I haven't run counter ads yet because it's not an inaccurate statement. You know, it's not slander. It's pretty accurate.
I mean, you could
You're
use
like,
it to your
oh, no,
advantage.
the
Oh yeah, no,
Constitution,
definitely. Don't worry. I got plans for that whole setup. But
All right. So, anyways,
Does any
with that
of
information.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
sorry. You keep playing.
One
the
more
game.
question. One
Yo.
more question.
hit me.
Any of this material, like possible material movement, right, and or the factory, within range of Stinkminer's current.
I think
building
he's
orders?
doing it. That's my thought.
So yeah, the ones in South Night City are actually more in the sort of southern side of it, and the new construction isn't quite there. You can tell it's gonna arc over several of them eventually, but at least the first leg that they're starting to build now is not.
Well, I don't think that it's necessarily that he's building them newly. I don't know who directly is involved with this in the background, but I think he has something to do with this. It's a hunch. It's just a hunch. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's not connected to this somehow. I can't explain it. There's some feeling I have in my stomach that says he's not separated from this.
Sewer tunnels.
Mm-hmm.
You remember when we had to go fix our water supply?
And it was Stinky who was fucking with it.
We never did go down into those sewers, did we? And I think Enzo mentioned something down
Yep.
into the sewers.
That was more standard. What's the word? That was more like just standard. Like drones. They're like just machine gun turrets.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a full robot army down there. It seemed like some temporary position someone put up, not
Right,
those
but
robots. But
that's that like somebody had the wherewithal to actually go into mapped out the sewer tunnels enough to be able to aptly place it. Also, the fact that I thought about that is kind of brilliant.
Well, good
I
idea.
appreciate it.
Listen, I'm just thinking. Again, I can't prove it just yet. He either knows or is intricately tied to whatever the fuck is happening with these robots. He has to. And I'm gonna get some answers out of him, even if I have to go direct.
Just remember that we can't actually fuck with the place. It's one of those. What do you call them? Well, what's that book from a while back that I think I might have looked at the cover of and never actually read through? Catch-22. That's what it was.
That's the thing. That's the statement. Also, really, you went through the book and not just like the phrase everyone uses all the fucking time? Because that's what that is. Anyway, whatever. Not important. I'll call who I can, figure out what I can, but keep that hunch in mind. I don't think I'm that wrong about this, and if I am, I still want to be sure. Oh, one more thing while we're at it. The security forces that are working around those posts that you've been monitoring for Stinky, they're all tied to a shell company under him. I'm going to need you to see if you can find some link to that. Not something crazy, but something the kind of thing we could, have accidentally go public, maybe? Perhaps right after an incident happens with those security forces?
I mean, there's gonna be two ways to spin it. I just hope you've got the right one. All right, we'll work on it. So,
Don't worry. We'll keep our hands clean. For now, at least.
like, I was gonna dig into what Stinky's been up to. Just know it's already killed 5 Netrunners. So,
Then be
we'll do our
careful.
best.
Yeah. They were new amateurs trying to prove themselves, but still.
Still be
But
careful.
still, it's actually killed some people, so Lynx is a
Well,
little
listen,
like...
I've actually killed some people, so
And way more than 5. So.
Exactly. Definitely a higher number than 5.
Alrighty. Just, you be careful. The Stinky's been pulling out all stops for this.
Yeah, I'm laying low for now. I'm still following a few leads, trying to see what the hell he's been up to. I gotta see where the board's at right now before I make any moves. I'm really killing these board game analogies here. I really gotta follow up on these. Any case, more than anything, keep your head down, alright? If this thing's killing Netrunners, then I need you, alright?
To be clear, these people died from the consequences of net running. Like,
Oh,
you
yeah,
can't
no,
die from...
Oh, no, I know, which is what
Okay.
Fox is thinking, which is why it's just like, be careful. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
He didn't have to shoot them. They just heard someone scream near the construction site and then went over and dumped a body because they tried to fuck with the digital side of that.
yeah.
I think Fox has like been around the one time that Lynx fucked up her net running, and this is before she got hardened circuitry. So
And he's
like her
terrified of it.
cyber deck just caught fire.
Oh, yeah, he's terrified of it. Just like the idea of it, just like, no, if something can do that to your brain, I don't want it. So just, please be careful.
Fun fact, it's actually kind of related to what happens to these robots. Your brain has to carry some of the load of net running, like processing-wise, and will overheat, and that's what you're actually doing to your brain when you get hurt in there. Your brain doesn't have a physical failsafe that prevents that from happening, so...
Right. Yep. That's rough. Anywho, yeah, keep that brain inside your skull and not cooked if you can.
Try not to have my brain dribble out of my ears. That's what you're for.
That's my job.
Chelsea, just put water coolant in your brain.
Yeah,
It's
just fucking,
fine.
just create a system that cools your brain, 5-head. What are you doing? Anyway. Install a
You
cooling
think that
system in your
definitely
cyberware.
some crazy hacker has absolutely put a liquid coolant system through their own brain to try and prevent net running damage, and it worked technically.
I have
it's just a lot of humanity lost. Like that's fucking with some things you shouldn't fuck with.
Yeah.
And definitely, also, if they get a physical brain injury, that coolant starts like leaking into their brain. 'Cause it's
Oh,
a very
oh no.
delicate system.
That's
This is
bad.
the kind of person who just like hides in their little tiny.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Well, anywho, I gotta,
it's a risk reward, man.
oh,
They've
hang
never had
on.
to get punched,
I'm
but
sorry.
they have gotten cyber hacked. So
Hang on, Ma.
Hmm?
There was one other thing, actually.
Another thing. All
One
right, what
last other
else?
thing. You met Red recently, right?
Yep.
You think you can get her in touch?
Wait, how'd you know?
I was at the club. I saw you walk off. Wasn't too hard to figure out.
Mariah probably also told him of like, oh yeah,
Sure.
Link had a meeting with Red.
Yeah, she's snitch.
Yep.
Anyway. Can you get me in touch, maybe?
Can I get you what?
In touch.
With Red?
Yep.
Well, maybe? I'm not, like, Lynx is, like, just kind of like, I'm not very social / like, any of this kind of stuff. I could ask her. She's, like, as far as Lynx knows, right, like, Red is kind of not, like, friendly with her, but she doesn't hate Lynx either, so it's like...
You guys had a moment, so you think that you could message her and ask.
Like, I can ask her if you need to talk to her.
You bonded over having to handle somewhat adopted children.
For having dumb sons. I understand. It's okay. As your dumb son, I understand. Whatever the case. I feel like you'd have better luck of it than I would. I have, oh boy. I have some thoughts on things I need to do to make sure this all comes together. I don't like any of it, but I'll do what I have to make it work, and part of it includes talking to her.
Well, if you're asking me, I would suggest also having a talk with Red about this, because she seems to have survived this kind of stuff.
It's kind of why I'm asking you
Against the
to
mob.
let me talk with her. I also, gotta have a talk with Jess again, which is weird given that I just did that, but I think I made an oopsie.
Well, when have you not made an oopsie?
Point
It's
conceded.
okay.
Ouch.
It's okay. That's what we're. That's our job. Patch it up.
Harsh but fair.
All right. So, Lynx has several things she needs to do right now. Check the flyover drones for inconsistencies. Maybe see if like 1 or 2 get lost. 2, look into the shell company, and 3, set up a meeting with Kit and Red, and hope that they don't kill each other.
I have no plans to kill her. Honestly, that
As
would
of
probably
right now, you don't.
Honestly, killing her would probably be easier than what I plan on doing.
Oh boy.
Sorry, trying to kill Red? I was looking at something for a second.
No,
No, I was like, please don't kill each other, and Kit was just like, hell no.
Oh, Jess. Okay.
yeah, no. What I have planned, killing her would probably be easier than doing what I have planned.
I was about to object because I thought you were talking about Red. It's like, you really think killing Red is going to be easier, huh?
Nope. Easier than this. But we'll deal with that when we get to it.
Anyway. So, Lynx, I assume you tell Doc, because I wanted to see what Doc was going to do with this information.
Yes. So Lynx is gonna mention like there's a talk about like, does Lynx know what Doc's stake in this is or not?
Yeah, Doc, what have you told them about, this whole situation? I think you mentioned that your aunt has some questions about the robots and that you're definitely, gonna sell that information in some way, but that's about it, I think.
And that she's willing to pay, what was it, double or a price and a half for?
Yeah, the number she gave you at the time was the rest of your family's debt. Although that's definitely grown a little bit even in the week since then, because they literally are living on like company score stuff. Like they cannot not pay the company for their resources. They live in a company-owned building. Everything they own comes out of their paycheck, and their paycheck is not enough to cover all of it. So every day it's a little bit more. But double means you have some time. Like they might have money left over to like live afterwards after coming out of debt, which is huge. You've never been within this striking distance.
My aunt is willing to pay us double for what if we can help her get to the bottom of this. Like, I don't know if I necessarily want to talk about my family situation. But I feel like double pay is probably a good, like, would
Indicator,
probably be a satisfactory explanation for why I want to
Fair
get this.
enough. Well, Lynx, I think would not want to go too deep into the AI stuff because that's AI stuff. But she can talk about like, okay, so let's see. I have written lots and lots of notes, and I can't even read my own fucking handwriting.
Uh,
So there's some very interesting things. For example, so your aunt might be interested in a few pertinent points, and she's gonna mention there's failsafe in it that'll cause robots to instantly overheat themselves and turn into slag. Two, uh, they can be a lot stronger than the program too, and they have a hidden mechanism that can let them do so. And like this is like lifting, like imagine, let's say your innocent looking butler bot lifting an entire fucking tank.
Oh, okay, that's horrifying.
And three, it's got some programming in it that'll wipe out anything that your programmers put in and replace it with their own stuff.
They can assimilate. Lovely.
just to be clear, because I think that you would assume the ant would know, like, the technical term for this, but it's like, oh yeah, this is basically a black box reinstall of a different operating system. Like, this ground up. This is not, oh, we have a digital failsafe. No. This is reformatting the whole damn thing.
Yeah.
Do you tell her where the black boxes are located, or are you just gonna... I mean, I guess you can tell Doc where they're located, and it's up to Doc as to what he tells his aunt, but...
I mean, at this point, it seems like it's a matter of public safety. So, like...
Okay. And you know that your aunt is someone who has connections to many different companies. Like, she ostensibly works for Rockland Augmetics, but, like, has connections with Biotechnica. In fact, the tech guy she ran down and, like, interrogated was from Biotechnica, as well as she deals with basically every other company all the time and just sort of their crazy corporate espionage shenanigans that happen. So she would be able to tell basically everyone about this and get, a lot of people in trouble.
Yeah. Let's see. Essentially what it boils down to is, like, all of these robots are incredibly fucking dangerous, and they all have a very... I'm not sure if, like, Lynx is going to say... Well, actually, I think Lynx is going to say this is, like, at your discretion, there's a back door in which the creator can, well, basically take it over whenever they want. And there's nothing you can do about it, because it's physical.
Just what we need. A potential army of killer robots.
In every single corporation, yes. And on the streets.
That's the part that worries me. Every single corporation, you say?
As far as does Lynx know this from?
Well, from the data you've collected, you don't know that on your side. But if Dr. Ant is correct, then yes, all of them. And you've seen this model, or at least something that looks very similar, like in every corporate building. Like, this just seems like the corporate model. You assumed until now, you've done research, they were all getting it from one manufacturer because they all looked kind of the same. It's like a Buick. It's like, hey, that's just the brand of that, and it's just also very popular with this specific kind of corporate location.
I feel like Lynx would say, like, so she wouldn't be sure it was every corporation, but every corporation that she's had to physically hack into,
yeah,
she's seen this.
Lynx, you've absolutely at some point hacked one of these robots. You just never had the technology to notice the black box, and it was just messing with the corporate's programming. You've done this before, for sure. You had to physically jack into a robot that was kind of probably trying to kill you at some point, but you've done it. You're like, they're not that intimidating or hard. They're just there. But you also know that none of these extra fail-safes were in place. You're also looking at the programming it's going to download when it gets a message, and you're like, oh, I would have way harder time hacking into this.
And
you're looking at it from the outside, and you're like, that's fine.
And the only person who could take these over is the creator, you say?
You know, probably. If I had enough time, I think Oryx and Spider and I might be able to finagle something that, but actually, could we, GM?
You think that you could maybe access this black box, but you would basically you'd have to hack into this thing's operating system. You'd have to net run into it because it has the bandwidth for that. It would maybe be only a few rooms, but you'd have to. It would be difficult. It would be a harder hack than you're used to. But yeah, you could jump in there and start messing with the stuff there. Because the way it's set up is it receives a signal, a pretty low, like power signal that mostly you wouldn't pick up. But if it does, it just auto dumps all of this in. So you could break into that system and mess with that command. Would be the easiest way to do it, or literally just wipe the whole system yourself. You'd have to do it on a robot by robot basis.
Yeah, that's the part I figured. I was figuring like, it's like I could net run into one, but the problem being that it'd be one robot at a time. I can't just send, like, I feel like Lynx is like thinking like, okay, what if I had like one piece of hardware that I could send this, like one signal like that could propagate the signal, because I'm assuming based on the.
I mean,
roll me some kind of hacking check to see what could I do, because I think there's a thought there.
there's also the
because
yeah.
Lynx would know.
I mean, yeah, sorry, I won't say anything. My bad.
All right,
Just real quick.
electronic security 22.
Oh,
Yeah, so technically, in the most technical sense, even when you are net running, what is happening between you and that is a series of commands. It's extremely complicated, it's extremely delicate, but you could copy the commands. You could record a net run, basically like a brain dance. And every single one of these robots is built, like the programming is exactly the same, is your assumption, is that you're pretty sure. The black boxes are all programmed the same. They might have a slightly different AI fragment, probably if you've stolen multiple AIs, but all the architecture around it, which is the stuff you'll actually be net running through, is the same. So if you could do this successfully once, and you recorded it, technically, it would require a lot of hardware, because you're basically imitating a human brain for a bare moment. But you could record that and then send it to all of these, and you could hack all of them.
Oh man.
So
Again, and
I wish I was still on
Spider's
this call.
talking about this, like it would take a crazy amount. I mean, a crazy amount of hardware. We're gonna have to get a brain dance system in here. I'm gonna have to hook you up to that and your net running thing. It really shouldn't do that, so we're gonna have like a splitter to put your signal to both of them. But it's possible, I think. I'm pretty sure. It won't be dangerous to you. I mean, the net running part is, but the recording won't be dangerous. But he's super excited about this idea as you propose it. And he's like,
I wish I was on this
I
call
was-
still. I
was
just had a
thinking
thought.
it might be useful to have an army of robots inside every corpo in Night City that potentially we could control.
I am rubbing off on him.
That still leaves the
Hey.
robots on the street, though. No, there's nothing to do with those but get rid of them.
That's what it is.
I mean,
want an army of
so
killers.
the easiest thing you could do would be
No matter
if you
who.
hacked this to make it automatically melt itself.
I need you guys to
You can
tell
send that
Fox
signal.
this. He has a thought.
If you want, you can bring him in if you're like, Fox might have an idea about this. I think you would know that Fox has tactics about this.
I have thoughts.
Okay, but like I'm coming
You.
at this from a perspective of more like fuck the corpos, and Fox is coming at this from a perspective of I can solidify my rule for all time with an iron fist.
Okay, listen, we can debate the specifics later. It's more important than that, though. Let's focus on the immediate right now. You're thinking too far distance. Let's focus on the right now. All right. The point I'm making.
Anywho,
Yeah, go ahead. Bring me in if you want, or don't. I don't care.
Dodge.
only if Doc is going to, because Lynx has definitely gone way too far into techno
She's
excitement babble
she's
with
nerding.
Spider.
Oh dear.
It's just like, oh, we could do really cool thing. Is Oryx still there? Because I feel like Lynx is just being like, hey, big bro, do you think this, like, if we could do, like, because this is basically just all like, you know,
Oh, no, they're all
propagated-
nerding.
This is basically the process that he was made by, just in a lower setting. Yeah, you could call him and he'd start like going over the logistics of it, of like, yeah, I guess you could. I mean, a brain dance is basically the technology I was made from. He's basically just doing a brain dance of that and applying it to the actual digital. Yeah, so he's gonna nerd out with you about that, of like, no one has done this before. You've seen brain dances of people hacking, but no one has taken a brain dance and used it to simulate the hacking of a system because you never run into something where the system is exactly the same more than once.
Yeah.
So but because this is this weird flash freeze of we're going to upload all of this at once, it will be the same as soon as you interact with it every time.
Yeah. Is there anything? Because Lynx has, by the way, completely forgotten, including myself as a player, what the heck we were talking about with Doc. We derailed.
You're talking about the robots.
Yes. So, right. And we know that there is a factory somewhere here in Night City. We're not sure where. We're trying to, like, Doc, do you have any ideas on, like, how we can narrow the search down? Lynx is just gonna list out, like, the 10 that, like, we found, right?
Around the city.
Yeah, and then also, like, mention, like, hey, we've got, like, Kit going, like, you know, talking with the street vendors, seeing if we can find it. But, like, is there anything you think you can add to this?
I don't recall. I don't think I heard anything from my aunt. I can ask around next. I can ask around with the booster gangers I operate on, see if I can find out where those trucks these robots kept falling off of tended to be located.
Yeah. And yeah. Oh, sorry. I was gonna be like, and Kit had a thought, and I'm not disinclined to think about it because how long has Stinkminer been mayor of Night City?
He's probably been around for a while. Let's say like 8 years.
Okay. But like,
he's been involved in the city earlier than that, but it's
You're
probably
right.
been 8 or 9 years that he's been like mayor of this area.
Right. But like, good intentions or not, he's been around for a while, and he might have something to do with this, or at least maybe disguising some of these material movements. Just a thought. That's it. That. It's Kit's theory. I'm not sure, but he's been suspicious. Although I have it on some interesting authority, not good authority, but interesting authority that he's not perhaps the worst, at least initially. Ugh.
How do you mean?
Let's say I had a very interesting chat with Red.
Oh, high society.
Like, yeah, we commiserated on raising troublesome kids.
Yes, I can understand your pain.
Okay, so we're all just shit talking me today. Is that what we're doing? All right, bet. Cool, got it. Respect.
Of course, you are affectionately Lynx's problem child.
I get it. I'm your dumb son. You have to tell everybody, okay?
I mean, Doc figured that out on his own.
All
He
right.
didn't have to.
Well, fuck you. How about that?
Once again, is Lynx wrong though?
I never said you were wrong. It's just hurtful.
Ooh, but he shouldn't say it.
Yeah. So, Doc, I also think that there's one last roll before we move on to a scene with Foxy. I don't know what skill this would be, but something of like, like my knowledge of medical records and just like the doctoring field in general.
Education, maybe. That's a skill.
I will take education if you want to roll me some education.
Or a library search.
Nah, it's not quite like that.
Ooh,
15 isn't bad.
not great.
Oh, 15. You're like, well, what could I look into? Because Link can pose this question. What could you add to this? What could you think into?
Thank you for the follow, by the way.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
thank you. 92p gaming.
Hey.
Anyways, so you think, and you're like,
That's not sure.
these robots have these kill switches, and you just worked on a guy that, like, the robot went nuts and, like, punched him in the face. It was an accident, and they just assumed it was poor programming on their part. That makes you think about some, like, other injuries you've done, mostly from people who work around these robots. And you start thinking about that, and you're like, I think there might be a pattern. And so, if you have connections with like the old with like some of the trauma team people, and they have the most medical records in the city. You think if you could get in touch with them, you might be able to do just a search on those kind of injuries and see if there's a bigger pattern.
Injuries seem to be
Mhm.
sent around.
Doc Huck could be the real robot lawyer.
I wish I was that clever in real life.
Yeah, I just feel like that's something Doc would maybe, and with a 15, good enough. You're like, okay, wait, because like it's a thing that he's experienced is these injuries, and you're like, they're starting to have a different context now, when you know that these things can just go ballistic at a signal.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we're good.
All right.
So that's something you can do. What I want to know, just like me to you guys, my players, how are you feeling about maybe one or two more scenes?
I'm with it. Let's go.
I don't want to put something. Yeah, just
fine.
like one or two more little things, because
Works for me.
you know we're getting like a half hour within the 2-hour moment.
Yeah.
So, real quick, I want to know if Foxy's thing that he wants to talk to Jess about, is that something you want to deal with before we head out?
Fuck yeah, let's get it out of the way.
We could do it next time. I'm just saying.
No, let's do it now. It's gotta rip the Band-Aid off.
Yeah. So yeah, all of this is happening near. It's been almost a week since, you know, the night you proposed to Jess. You've definitely seen her and talked with her a few times since then. It's just this last day. It's probably somewhere after you've done the PR event where your new family were involved. And so yeah, you have a chance to. You're like, maybe I should go talk to her.
Yeah.
So how does that look?
So Fox mostly kind of just like
Approve.
catches her by herself, and kind of like pulls, like he walks up to her just like, hey, you got a sec? Just listen, God, how does this work? I know we made some calls recently, or no, sorry, I won't put this on you. I made some calls recently, and I want you to know that I don't disagree with them on principle. Everything I said the other day, I meant, but God, Jess, I'm neck deep in this shit now, you know? This, he kind of points to the rally, this points across the street to like a couple of booster gangers fucking around with some shit, just like, this is all of me now. He, in his one hand, he has a book. Jess would know he's read it before, but she hasn't seen him read it in a long time. It's the same Machiavelli book he had when he was talking to Ben earlier. Just, one must always remember to never allow their personal selves and political selves to blend. And I think I fucked that one up a bit. I love you, like, in a way that doesn't have words to put to it. Like, something primal, you know? And as much as I am okay with all of that being known, I'm not okay with the risk it puts you at. I have to make some moves that are going to be the best thing possible, not just for everybody here in South Night City, but for you, and probably also for Reyna. You're not going to be happy with those choices that I make, but I want you to know that behind all of those choices, the real me has never stopped loving you. And he'll hold up his other hand, which has his engagement ring and is no longer on his finger. Just, I'm sorry I acted too fast.
I think she has this reaction of like, there's a little bit of anger, but there's also a little bit of like exasperation or like he's serious. He's like, I don't know if you remember that Stinkminer took Reyna before when we hadn't talked to each other in 10 years.
This
ring doesn't mean anything to him. This ring doesn't mean anything to anyone else. They all know we have history. They all know you and Reyna have history. Whatever it is you think that we're going to be in more danger, it's here. I've accepted that already. And honestly, it showed me that the safety I thought I'd gotten working for someone official and on the up and up is fake. The only difference is you can't tell when someone's mad at you. You can't tell when someone's gunning for you until it's too late. When it comes to the corpo guys, the politics guys.
And that's the point I'm trying to
You
make,
think-
Jess. That's the point. I know things aren't safe for you if you just walk away from me because you and I are too tied together. I get that. Which is why I'm gonna put all this heat on me. Just me. Not you, not Reyna. I need you to trust me on this. Please?
Roll me some kind of
I will
conversation, persuasion.
roll
You don't-
persuasion. The fucking... Where's my character sheet? Here it is. Oh, God, I'm emotional right now. This is
don't have it
hard.
open?
No, I got it. It's
Yes.
open. I'm emotional right now, so... Dice, don't fail me. 19. I'm gonna blow a luck point.
Yeah, okay.
25.
That's much better. You're giving her just the most direct and intense stare possible. And Jess isn't dumb. Like, she gets the idea of plausible deniability. Of, like, don't tell someone something because it makes it easier for them to lie or, in this case, tell the truth about not knowing something. And she looks at you. She's like, okay. Okay, we'll do it this way. When this is over, you're going to propose to me, like, it's going to be a big deal. It's going to be news.
Gotcha.
You're going to propose to me, and it's going to be, like, a flash mob or something. I don't know. Think of something cheesy. If you end up one that's famous, I'm going to get famous. Got me?
I'll hire a band and everything. But for now at least, and he will pull a cred stick from a pocket. Take this and Reyna and get as far away from here as you possibly can. I don't care where you stay. I don't care what you do for work. Just get somewhere else and I'll come find you when this is all over.
Yes. Yeah, all right. You actually see her go and, like, talk to Danny, and you realize that she's had, friendships with the people who live here, and Danny's been in and out at least once or twice. And they seem, like, friendly, like they know each other, like this is her neighborhood.
I'd be jealous if I
At this
wasn't
point.
emotional right now.
And, yeah, talks to Danielle and says something to the effect of, and you get the sense you're like, oh, she's just gonna go meet up with his nomad group and work with them. That's about as far away as you can get.
Hey, that works for me. So yeah, Fox is gonna turn and walk away from that scene. Definitely at least shedding a tear or two, but he's a thug. He can't let people see that.
Lynx has cameras now.
Oh, you fucker. Come on. Why are you like this?
Okay, so, yeah, I think that's that scene. And then, Doc, do we want to jump to you for sort of the last one?
Sure. I don't think we ever came up with a name for my trauma team contacts, did we?
Yeah. No, we
Oh.
didn't. So, who would be? Just
So
tell
if
me
anyone would
what
like
this kind of guy.
to submit a suggestion, now's your chance.
Stop giving them
Yeah,
that
it's-
power!
You
Wait,
can send
is there-
names.
Is there one that we haven't redeemed already for this? For
Heck redeemed Jeff, but I think that was for Seven Sons.
Yeah, it
I
was.
named the guy Jeff from accounting, didn't I?
It was a Jeff from accounting, yeah.
I thought that was Paul from accounting.
Listen, doesn't matter.
You know what? We can give us Jeff. The guy you know is Jeff.
Jeff.
Chad has demanded Jeff.
We go with
Yes.
Jeff then. Jeff it is. Chad has spoken.
isn't
And
that
honestly, Jeff is this, pretty reliable trauma team guy. Like, amongst all the corporations, trauma team is the one that seems the most on the up and up. Like, they're really here just to do that bit. Like, the thing that they want to do. Trauma team isn't fucking around. They're not trying to, manipulate anybody. It's like, no, this is a service that needs to be done. And we're good at it. They definitely have maybe muscled out any competition, but in a pretty honest way of simply, we're better at this than you. Like, just some regular old stuff. Yeah, Jeffrey Zobez is your sort of
It's
contact.
fucking
with them.
goddamn
You
it.
went to medical school with. You did some work with them.
Born in 1964. Nope! I'm sorry. I apologize. It's my fault.
The
I
best
did
part of
it.
this- the
I
best
did
part
it.
of this is I have no idea what you guys are referencing.
Good.
Hilarious.
And we'll just leave it there for
Say this
now, and I'm
goes
sorry.
backwards.
I'm sorry.
It's going in my notes though.
We'll deal with it later.
Okay. Jeffrey Zobens.
I hate it. I hate it, and I want to die.
Yeah, I would like you to roll me a quick, like, any kind of social check just to see where your relationship with this guy left off. You knew him in medical school. You did a little work for trauma team with him.
Okay. Like an actual skill check or just like a die?
Yeah, just some kind of skill check related to your, like, social skills.
I mean, conversation seems like it would make the most sense.
Sure. Absolutely. This is just a guy you knew and you had good conversation with. How well do you know?
Boy. Not the best roll.
It's not bad.
I mean,
Could be worse.
not horrible. It's pretty neutral, honestly. You're like, he's a guy that you respect his work and he respects yours, and you were coworkers. You went to school together for a bit, but not like friends with. You didn't like go have beers afterwards, but he knows you as pretty reliable, and he also knows that you don't like you're not like frivolous with things. You're not just gonna call him up and like to do a prank. So when you contact him and say, hey, I need access to like service level records. They can be scrubbed of like personal data, but I need to know where and when and the instances of their injury, and I need to do a big search of just like all your records like that. So when you contact him about that, he knows you're not joking very instantly. He's like, all right, this is a little sudden. Can I ask why?
I have a theory about the nature of these incidents and something that may be tying them together. But in order to see if my theory is correct, I need to know more about where and when they occurred. If I'm right, we may be able to prevent future injuries.
He thinks about it for a minute, and I mean, can I talk to my bosses about this, or do you need some more subtle access?
Do you think that your bosses will say yes?
He goes, I mean, maybe when you word it like that, I don't get to talk all the way at the top, but at least my managers are pretty chill about this. Like they would want to do the work, and I think that comes from the top down. I think our owners are pretty. I mean, have you ever met these guys, Carrie or Bob? Canon names of these CEOs, by the way. They came to a Christmas party the other day, and or last year, I should say. They came to a Christmas party, and I don't know. I hate buying into the corporate bullshit of we're a team and
the
we're a
kind
family.
and noble
they didn't...
CEO. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I don't like to buy into any of that, but they didn't do any of it. They just said, "Hey, you guys have saved people," and I don't know. I kind of believe them. And you went to school with this guy. You worked with him. You guys have been in like 4-pay hospitals and kind of hated your bosses for their sort of like, can we get a little more money out of these assholes? But when you worked at Trauma Team, you didn't stay there very long, but you had kind of a feel of that. Your very limited work there was like they didn't try and feed you a message other than you saved this number of people. Good job. So yeah, you can basically let him roll the conversation check to convince them, or the persuasion, if you'd like, or you can sort of tell him what to say now and roll the persuasion yourself.
I'll tell him what to say, because if he's a doctor, and like they care about saving people and protecting people, like.
Mm-hmm. In fact, actually, I think you get put on a call where you can just say it yourself, if you'd like.
All right.
Where he like introduces you.
I'm very persuasive. How persuasive is Jeff Zobens?
Let's find out. He's not very persuasive.
Oh, great. I can see how we got along.
You just know him. He is just the blandest dude is the problem.
Oof. Yeah, that's not great. All right, well, I guess I would have a better chance than you would. So, I guess
I'm gonna say that's his points into that. That's not plus like a is it empathy score? It's a cool score, but you know he's just not very cool either.
I can see how we got along so well.
The opposite of Fox in every way.
Happens sometimes, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, I'll take the call. I'll take the lead.
And if you want to, like, tell me exactly what you say before you roll, that could maybe get you bonuses if you are real good at convincing them.
I have reason to believe that these incidents involving malfunctioning robots may be connected, and the malfunctions may in fact be being triggered by an external source. To find out where that source is, I need data on where and when the incidents have occurred. And to do that, I need access to trauma team records. If I'm right about this, we can save a lot of people.
Okay, so I want to look at Doc Huckabee's character sheet real quick, because I have a thought. If it will open, there we go.
GM has a thought. That's never a good sign.
That's always a good sign. What do you mean?
So, you don't consider yourself uncool. You just know that you're not as persuasive as you could be. Someone like Fox is a narrator, a orator, can really convince you of something. He has a sense for the dramatic, and you're not really great at that. However, you do know that this is an earnest plea. This is a plea that you really want them to believe. So I'm going to let you take the higher of your empathy score, like your empathy if you hadn't lost some for cyberware, and use that for your persuasion instead of cool.
Okay. So my max empathy or my current empathy?
Max is I think
your max empathy.
Okay.
So it's 8 instead of 5. So whatever you would have a roll, it's a +3. Right. Because you are making an empathetic plea. I don't know if your conversation is higher just in general or not, but
my conversation is pretty high. My persuasion is not.
Yeah. If you'd rather, then we can just straight up do your conversation. If it's better than even the empathy version of persuasion.
It actually would be.
Yeah, then let's do that. I don't want to give you a minus, but I think that I have to reward you for this.
Ah, man.
Always roll luck.
I mean, you could always roll luck, because that was a 4.
Hit him with a look.
I mean, it's one of the last rolls of this session. Why not?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, I like that color.
Much better.
I like that color.
Big crits.
So
All right. So, you put down this very, like, real plea of we can help people, we can save them, and Jeff is sort of just there to, like, I pledged for this guy, he worked in this and this, even worked for us for a bit, and the fact that you worked for them even for a little, they respect that. They're like, okay, this is powerful. Sorry, had to check a thing. So you see the sort of his managers and him, and they talk for a minute amongst themselves, and they say, technically it'd be against the rules for us to give any of this data to someone who's not us. This is supposed to be confidential. There are some of us over of the opinion that sharing medical information between professionals isn't the worst. And so we do have standard procedure for letting other people access this sort of records. It generally scrubs their names and any of the medical information about, like, long term, but it is the response records, you could say. That was a weird flicker. The response records?
You saw that too.
Yeah, I saw a weird flicker on your screen for a second.
Oh. Yeah.
You're being hacked right now.
Right now, yeah.
You're
being DDoS right now. Purge it. Purge the whole system. Throw it out.
But yeah, but they say, so we could definitely sell that to you, which is perfectly fine. And they have on a napkin, like on a piece of paper, for this amount, and it's like a single eddy.
Okay. I can.
It's like, if you need more, there's not exactly any rules about a medical professional standing behind one of ours while they happen to be looking up information.
Much appreciated. And the procedure is understandable. And as long as I have the location data, I do not need the confidential information about the patients.
And we're going to say that part of that role, just is very good, is sort of looking through this. They prepared this data for you already. And you combine like industrial accident, robot, and the incident report, and then like the level of care, I guess. And as you look through this, you see this pattern. And for a minute, you're not really sure what it means, because there's definitely like a cluster of accidents around a specific company, even if it's not happening on company time. And those clusters seem to move, like they're not a widespread event. There's a little bit here and a little bit there, and then a different company and a different company. And you really can't put it together, because Doc is not someone who would like see the pattern, but because it's a very good role, you actually see Dion for the first time in a while, who has come back. You can tell that he has been in a little bit of a fist fight, but he seems kind of in higher spirits, of like he's scribbling on like notebook, writing stuff down, like these details. And then he just happens to sit like in the sort of cafe area of the gas station next to you and sees some of that data. And he goes, "Huh, that's following company value."
How many what?
Yeah, and he like, "Oh, you didn't? Oh, I guess you wouldn't." And he has his laptop out, and he actually has a bunch of data on like how different companies are doing sales wise, and if they're expanding and stuff like that. And you can tell whenever one has spiked, the accidents start happening more often. There's one or two outside of that, but it's generally like as they start trying to build in certain ways and they can build more, or when they're doing really well, there's just like a few accidents, and you can see that they taper off when the company starts doing worse again. And Dion's looking at newspapers from around there, and he starts getting into this analysis. He's like, "Yeah, those are accidents." And you see, you don't have like the names and the positions of the people on here, but Dion finds a few news articles that coincide with several of these spikes, where sometimes it's like a regular guy at a warehouse, and you can see the warehouse does worse for a little bit. Once or twice, it's like someone higher up that was visiting the warehouse gets struck, and it's like a news story of just these robots are buggy and there's an industrial accident, and they kind of blame other companies who are like jockeying for position as like corporate espionage. And you know it's not. And Dion just sits there and he's like, this is corporate espionage on like a national level. Someone's been fucking with these companies using robot accidents.
Who benefits by screwing with every corporal? Well, besides us. But
I couldn't tell you. It seems like it's everyone in Night City.
so, what about corporals that are outside of Night City? Do you think they might have something? One of them might have something to gain by this.
I don't know. Every corporation I've heard of is connected here. And he's not been aware of like the stuff that you've been doing recently. He's kind of been away. He's like, but you know, a lot of corporations act without being seen. If you didn't have like a big central business for Biotechnica or, you know, Trauma Team or Danger Girl, they could operate completely through just small, privately owned things. Someone could be hiding a whole corporation using this.
Just what we need.
And yeah, I think that's personally a really interesting and dramatic place to sign off.
I'm fine with it, babe. It's up to you. It's your show.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's intense. I gotta think about that for a bit.
Shadow Corpse.
I still think it involves Stinky somehow. I'm not gonna lie. I still think he's involved in this somewhere. I don't know. Something's
He could be
telling
one
me.
of those unwitting users of.
I don't know. It could be his shadow corporation. Maybe he's trying to step himself up the political ladder. You mean? Maybe mayor of South Bend City isn't enough. He wants to go further than that.
I thought that was you.
Shut up. We're not talking about me right now. We're focused on the immediate right now.
I just want to make sure
No,
everyone's
you're
feeling pretty
thinking
good.
too far in the future.
Too far in the future. It's exactly one. Okay. All right. Yeah, I thought that was a pretty good session. I'm glad the chat was here for it.
Yeah, I had a really good time, honestly. This is a good session. A lot
Yeah.
of important reveals and stuff. A lot of fucking
Definitely
emotions.
Emotion. Go ahead. Anyways, I'd like my players to sign off. Let me know where we can find them so you can follow them and make them more popular and everything because I love them. And then I'll sign up.
Cool. What's up? I'm Fox C. I was playing Fox today. I get those backwards sometimes. If you want to find me on the internet, I'm on the Twitter sphere at Big Foxy. That's BIG_FOXXI. I dunk on trolls a lot, and I slay anime abbeys. So, you definitely want to be part of that. If you want to know what you're going to see me in next, well, Wednesday is the premiere of Forest and Flame over on Critical Misses. So you can see me just be the cutest, most cinnamon roll Vulpin Paladin ever. That's going to be great. Afterwards, I'll be hanging out right back here coming next weekend, Saturday and Sunday, for the Seven Sons and In His Divine Name, respectively. Definitely be attuned for that. But slightly more importantly than that, actually, you know what? I won't even announce that because it's more important for somebody else to announce that because they're doing their thing. I'm here to help them do their thing, so I'll let them announce that. But yeah, that's where you'll find me at most of the time. Other than that, I make music sometimes. See me on SoundCloud.com/YoungFoxy, YUNG_FO or YUNG-FOXXII. It's right there in the chat. I got an EP coming out hopefully end of this month if I get some shit together. Looking for cover art. And then I got a Transformers one-shot happening the 30th. So if you thought I had done enough goofy fucking one-shots, you have not seen a fucking thing yet. But join me on the 30th. I'm finalizing my cast now for Transform and Roll Out, Transformers Mechton Zeta one-shot. It's happening. It's happening. I did it.
Hey.
So that's a reality. Other than that, that's really all I got going on. I'm gonna pass it over to my mother, who likes calling me her dumb son to people in public. But that's okay. We'll deal with that.
It's fine. It's fine because you already know.
I know I'm your dumb son. You just don't have to tell everybody.
But it's my job.
Yeah, well.
Anywho.
As your mother.
Can't debate that.
Anywho, I'm Michelle. I played Link's or Netrunner. You can find me nowhere on social media except maybe Discord. Maybe.
Is that a social media?
Technically, maybe.
Kind of.
Social networking? I don't know. I'm not gonna get into it. Fuck it.
Yeah, there. Well, anyways, you can maybe see me on Discord, and especially if you are participating in A Blade's Will, our 2 rotating one-shot campaigns, of which our first one for the Coalition of Steel will be happening on. Let me get the date correct because I know it's Thursday.
It's the 19th.
The 19th. Woo! So,
it's gonna be so fucking hype.
Yes, it is our second
good.
Naruto one shot, so be there. I'll also be in the Seven Sons on Saturday, so you can catch me there on Saturday.
All of us are going to. Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, everyone here will be in Seven Sons come
There will also
Saturday.
be other people in case you were worried.
Oh yeah, don't worry. There'll be at least 2 other people also in Seven Sons, so stay tuned for that.
Who are good and wonderful. We'll talk about them on their show.
We'll talk about that
Exactly.
later. Yes. Hey, I'm Dan. I've got Twitter. I tweet stupid stuff, usually about wrestling, because I like wrestling. I am also in the Seven Sons, happening again this Saturday.
It's gonna be a session.
It is going to be a session.
Uh-oh.
And then, apart from that, I guess, I don't know, subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, I guess.
That's true. Do both of those things,
Yeah.
definitely.
Anyways, my name is Tate Washburn. I am the DM here. You can find me at Twitter at kinda_writing. Mostly I just am sarcastic and talk about just media, politics, stuff like that. I don't know. It's pretty general. Tabletop design sometimes when I'm feeling like it. You should definitely follow this channel, like Dan said, at Neon Lights Our Play.
You nailed
I get
it.
that wrong every time. No, I did not. I started that 3 times. Anyways, I don't get to first try that. Anyways, yeah, thank you guys for being on this journey with us. I should let everyone know that a good job. I liked it.
Oh,
There you go.
thanks. That's
Love you guys.
Oh, we love you too.
Is there
friend.
anyone for us to raid?
Palenor's live.
Yeah,
They're a
ooh.
friend of Meg's, and they're cool as hell. So we could definitely throw them a raid. They're playing some Undertale right now.
Ooh, I do
Ooh,
like.
Undertale.
Yeah, let's go ahead and throw Palinor a raid. So yeah, we'll throw Palinor a raid. They're a friend of the channel, Meg Mysteria, who you've seen regularly here for his
Yes,
divine
yeah.
name. So
Mhm.
yes, Sans Undertale's being played over there, and we're gonna go over there with some Sans Undertale being played. So we've been Neon Lights Roleplay. You all have been beautiful and amazing and wonderful. Don't ever change. If anyone makes you change, punch them really hard in the face. We'll see you all.
That's the message we want.
Ooh.
Change is good. Anyways.
We'll see you all later. Bye.